connection.
Hey, thank you for all that are here and attending the board meeting. I just as a reminder to please silence your cell phones.
And then is Chris Woodish coming? Volume's on. Volume's on.
The stream is live, so.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll go ahead and school coordinator, we'll go ahead and call tonight's meeting to order. Today's date is Tuesday, April 11, 2023. Baboquivari Unified School District regular governing board meeting. Before we begin with roll call, I just want to take a moment again to acknowledge and thank the Donald Nation as we do operate as a public school within tribal lands. And we do want to again send our deepest appreciation to the Donald Legislative Council, who has recognized and acknowledged much of our efforts as far as goals in supporting the hymnbook and the culture and language of the Donald Nation. Just as a formal statement from myself as president of the Baboquivari Unified School District Governing Board, sending our best as well to the nation, and again encouraging all to use as much Altamyok as possible, as much as you feel comfortable with. The more that we get comfortable, the more that we utilize, the stronger the language will be. Go ahead and turn over to Mr. Sabalo for roll call.
All those present? Juan Padilla?
Yan Haichu.
Anna-Marie Stevens?
Here.
Sylvia Hendricks? Ella Mae Greasewood? Kathleen Vance?
Please make sure you're speaking into the mics and we can hear you.
Here.
I hear you tapping
Can you hear me?
All right. If you'll please stand on for the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is over here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on with tonight's agenda, letter D is our approval. Letter D, routine business. Number 1, approval of the April 11th, 2023 board meeting agenda. Board members, with your approval, I am going to request, because I know we want to make a recommendation to pull from consent agenda letter G out of number 6, the out-of-state travel approval for the junior class for 2023, class of 2024. Is that what it is, Ben? Yes. That'll be new number 6 under action items. No más up. Is there anything else for the agenda?
No.
Without any objection, I'll move to approve with that change. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Anna-Marie Stevens. Go ahead, Ben.
All those in favor of the motion? Juan Padilla?
No más up.
Anna-Marie Stevens?
Aye.
Kathleen Vance?
What's up?
Okay. With that, we'll continue. Number 2 is our approval of the March 8, 2023 regular board meeting minutes. Board, without any objection, will go ahead and approve as well March 28, 2023 special board meeting. I'll motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Anna-Marie Stevens.
All those in favor of the motion? Juan Padilla?
Masapo.
Anna-Marie Stevens?
Aye.
Kathleen Vance?
What's up?
Motion carried.
Thank you. Number 4 is our call to the audience.
Okay. There's no call to the audience tonight.
For the record, we have no call to the audience this evening. We'll continue with our agenda. Letter E is our information items. Number 1 is the Baboquivari Unified School District students of the month. Superintendent Diaz.
President Dia, members of the board, members of the community. Skurta, Shapaya Mazma, no. Shapaya, no, it is Shamay Mazma. Shamay Mazma. Anya and I have Jugil Ruben Diaz, and it's a pleasure to be serving the Autumn community as the superintendent. And at this point, I would like my principal for the primary school to present to the podium. Students from the primary, if you are the student of the month for the primary, please come forward, and I'm going to need your support in coming up here in front, right behind me, so you can go up the staircase. Primary students of the month, please come up. Right behind me, Sudan, please. Thank you. Come on, let's give him a hand. Look at that. How proud. Look at how proud and tall they're coming up. Thank you. Ms. Enriquez, please take it away.
Good evening, Skukdash, Governing Board President Buendia, Governing Board members, Superintendent Diaz. I don't know if she's here. Pre-K, Leah Raincloud, are you here? Oh, she's not. Alex Reina, not here, sorry. Okay, for first grade, he is here. He was nominated by Miss Black. He is in the House of Isabindi. Alexander Juan was nominated for Student of the Month because he works hard in the classroom. He is always in class, on time, and ready to learn. Alexander has sharpened his skills in all areas in ELA, math, and reading. Alexander has become a great role model. He follows directions quickly. He is a great friend to all. He is kind and patient. Alexander is one of the group leaders and does his job with passion. When he grows up, Alexander wants to be a firefighter. Congratulations, Alexander.
And you want a heart, you want thumbs up, or you want a dash? What would you like? Thumbs up, thumbs up it is. Very nice. We're proud of you. Here.
For second grade, we have from Mr. Helt's class, also from the House of Isabindi, is Jaden Pablo. Jaden is a model student for all the following reasons. Jaden quietly cares for his fellow students in many roles and is well thought of among his classmates. Jaden is a very polite, kind, and thoughtful young man. Jaden is always ready to come to the aid of his fellow students in their time of need. Jaden has been in Mr. Helt's homeroom student in his homeroom class as his tech helper and takes on the self-appointed role of door holder, class helper, and any jobs he finds where a little more help and support is needed. As one of the stronger students in reading, ELA, and math, we often ask Jaden to help us as a small group and assist other students who need extra support. Consequently, he is highly thought of as a class leader and supporter among his teachers and peers. Jaden, you are a vital member of the class, and it is a pleasure and honor that you are nominated as March 2023 Second Grade Student of the Month. When he grows up, he does want to join the United States Navy and help bring peace and protection to our worlds. Okay. Our third grade student is Nayana Escalante. Nayana is in Miss Jackson's class, and she belongs to the House of Altruismo. She has exceeded her goals in all areas in ELA, math, writing, and reading fluency. She is currently in a 4.1 in SFA, which is fourth grade reading, and continues to score above proficient in her assessments. She is a joy, and it is an honor to have her in my class. Congratulations, Nayana. And our final student of the month is Talia Ochoa. She was nominated by our second grade culture teacher, Mrs. Francisco. She is in the House of Revere. Miss Francisco has observed Talia over several months, and she has grown academically. She has always been of help to Miss Francisco in the classroom. She is a role model for the O'odham language and values without being boastful. She is always willing to help out her classmates if they need help with the language. Talia is her go-to person in the classroom. When she was asked what she wanted to be when she grew up, it took her several days to think about this question. And her decision on this question is she wants to be an O'odham Makai, a person that heals others with her gift and healing powers. Miss Francisco is encouraged by her decision because a person so young rarely thinks of becoming a medicine person. Congratulations. And then just checking, did Alex or Leah walk in? No. All right, I will turn it over to intermediate campus.
Good evening. I'm Miss Leva. I'm the assistant principal at the intermediate campus, and this evening I am representing Miss Begay Lewis as she is out of town today. So do we have any of our student of the months from intermediate? One, just one. And a couple of the teachers were here that would like to present. Mr. Flores, Ms. Tubalia, come on up. I'd like to present Mr. Flores, who will be presenting the award for his fourth grade student.
To Board President Juan Buendia and board members, District Superintendent Ruben Diaz, school principals, teachers, staff, parents, guardians, and learners. Skuk Kudunik, Ani Anapchukik, Cirello Flores, fourth grade teacher of Waugiwort Aara Mashkamakud, or Baboquivari Intermediate School. I have the honor of introducing to you the March fourth grade student of the month. This student maintains an admirably high rate of attendance and has made significant academic progress across the board. His kindness, openness, dependability, optimism, and sense of responsibility in school and at home has he openly discussed what he does before he going to school and when he returns home helped his family in his straightforward style, amazed me and further convinced me of his nomination. His laudable aim is to one day build homes for the homeless so that no one will have to live in the street without comfort and safety. Friends, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Kingsley Manuel as the fourth grade student of the month with proud ma'am, Miss Tanya Sudam and family.
Skuktash, Ani Anapjagi, Miss Hannah Diaz-Tubalia. I am very thrilled and excited to present to you the sixth grade student of the month, Miss Alexandria Birdsell. Alexandria is the daughter of Mr. Carl Birdsell and our very own faculty member, Mrs. Narissa Birdsell. Alexandria tops every test that we do, may it be ELA, math, science, social studies, school city test, and fingers crossed the state test. She has a positive attitude towards learning as she is driven and motivated on wanting to know more and wanting to learn more. She learns fast, and each day she comes to school with a grin on her face and willingness to learn and improve. She consistently shows respect to both her peers and the teachers, and her manners always impress me, and I'm glad to be her teacher. And when I asked Alexandria, how will you make the world a better place? She wrote, I would make the world a better place by wasting less water, and picking up trash even though it may not be yours because it might get stuck on bird and animals who will try to eat it. That's Alexandria, selfless and kind. Help me welcome on stage Miss Alexandria Birdsell and with her dad on the audience. Thank you very much. Yay. Thank you.
Okay. The next student, do we have Xavier Romero here yet? Or Tylana Pablo? No? Okay, I will quickly read what Mr. Cody wrote for Xavier Romero, who is his student of the month. Xavier Romero comes to us from Big Fields. He is an excellent student who is very polite to his fellow classmates and is very helpful. In the third quarter, Xavier has shown great improvement in mathematics and science. Xavier has improved his vocabulary and math skills and fractions. And when asked how he can make the world a better place, he said, "I will be generous." And finally, Ms. Olumba has chosen Tylana Pablo. Tylana is a representation of respect. In no way or fashion have I ever seen her not be respectful, whether it's in library or during the brief time in teaching the math class that she was in. She is considerate of others and herself. She never has an attitude and she is always willing to help. She is attentive and very polite. When asked how she would make the world a better place, she said she would like to give the homeless a place to live. Thank you.
Good evening, Board President Buendia, governing board members, and Mr. Diaz. I am proud to present our secondary students of the month. And for 7th grade, I'd like to call up Soraya Antone. Soraya, are you here? The 7th grade team names Soraya Antone as the March Student of the Month. Soraya is the daughter of Diana Antone and Shaylin Patricio. Her home village is Tapawa in Baboquivari District. Soraya is a good student with excellent attendance. She is also an athlete playing both basketball and softball with the Lady Cougars. Her favorite class is Thon Anthem History with Miss Martin because Miss Martin is awesome and Soraya likes to learn about culture and Himada. After graduating from BHS, Soraya plans on going to college. She's currently considering a career in medicine or law. The people that Soraya most greatly admires are her uncle Merle Antone and her brother Devin Antone because they push her to follow the right path and do what is right. She is grateful for them. Congratulations, Soraya. Our 8th grade student of the month is Alize Uyghur. Are you here, Alize? Alize is a student of the month for 8th grade. Alize's guardians are Miriam and Damon Ramon. Her home village is in Sells District. Alize is a strong student with good attendance who turns in her work on time. She is an athlete too, playing basketball for the Lady Cougars and serving as manager for the Lady Cougar softball team. Her favorite class is Thon Anthem Culture with Miss Martin because it's interesting and fun. After graduating, she plans to go to college and play basketball. Her dream career is to play in the WNBA for the Memphis Grizzlies. One person Alize greatly admires is her grandpa Lester Lopez because he always took care of her and continues to push her to be her best. Congratulations, Alize. Our freshman student of the month, Cyan Francisco. Come on up. Sure. All right. Cyan Francisco is the freshman class student of the month for March. Cyan's parents are Christopher Francisco and Marion Toro. His home village is Comababi in Shuktawak District. Cyan is an excellent student with very strong attendance. He participates in sports with his classmates in PE. Cyan enjoys his online classes with Miss Long. His love for online learning has deepened because of this class. He also likes automotive class because he learns through hands-on activities. According to Mr. Francisco, he and Cyan have done a few auto repairs. Cyan is very focused on finishing and passing all of his classes this year. He is working hard and creating success every day. Congratulations, Cyan. Yeah. All right, if Christopher Pablo, Jem Roque, and Malachi Chavez are here, can you please come line up at the stairway, please? All right, our sophomore class student of the month is Christopher Pablo. Christopher Pablo's parents are Carmela and Milton Pablo. His home village is San Miguel in Chukukuk District. Christopher is a very strong student with excellent attendance. His favorite class is art with Miss Roach because it's very relaxing. His favorite teacher is Mr. Saligan because he gets the job done, but is not too serious. After graduating from Baboquivari High School, Christopher plans to go to college, but where is still an open question. His career goals are also open, but Christopher is interested in learning about psychology. If Christopher had a superpower, it would be teleportation, because he likes to travel and see the world. You're doing a wonderful job, Christopher. Congratulations. Our junior class student of the month is Jem Roque. She is the daughter of Joseph D. Roque and Charicel Roque. Her hometown is Bacolod City in Negros Occidental region in Philippines. She is an outstanding student with excellent attendance. In addition to her academics, she is involved in extracurriculars as well. She is the secretary of the yearbook club and serves as the manager for the Lady Warriors softball team. When asked if she has any favorite classes or teachers, Jen says that she enjoys all her classes and teachers equally. After graduating from Baboquivari High School, she plans on going to college and studying medicine. Her current career goal is to become a dermatologist. One person that Jem greatly admires is her older brother, Charles Roque. She looks up to him because he is a great leader and example. Congratulations, Jem. And our senior student of the month is Malachi Chavez. Malachi is the son of Aaron Chavez and Elena Andrews. His home village is San Luis in Guachi District. Malachi is a strong student with outstanding attendance. He is active in Waida, playing 6 different instruments in the BSC Waida band. He is also a member of Baidan, a traditional Waida band he made with his friends. His favorite class is Waida, and his favorite teachers are Mr. Enriquez, Miss Lopez, and Mr. Hooten. After graduating in May, Malachi plans on attending college and studying to become a systems administrator. The people that Malachi admires the most are his parents because they helped him to know right from wrong, taught him so much about the world, and always pushed him to be his best self. We are proud of you, Malachi. Congratulations. I just got word that Alize has arrived in the building. Alize, can you come up? Our 8th grade student of the month is Alize Uyghur. Her guardians are Miriam and Damon Ramon. Her home village is Sells. She is a strong student with good attendance who turns in her work on time. She is an athlete too, playing basketball for the Lady Cougars and serving as a manager for the Lady Cougars softball team. Her favorite class is Thon Anthem Culture with Miss Martin because it's interesting and fun. After graduating, she plans to go to college and play basketball. Her dream career is to play in the WNBA for the Memphis Grizzlies. One person Alize greatly admires is her grandpa, Lester Lopez, because he always took care of her and continues to push her to be her best. Keep up the good work, Alize. Congratulations. Just a smile. All right, and I will pass it off to Mr. Fox with Baboquivari Accelerated Academy.
Congratulations, young lady. Good evening, everybody. Good to see you. We'll only need that one. My name is Barry Fox. I am the principal of the Accelerated Campus next to Intermediate, our sister campus. And for 7th grade, we have a student that we're going to recognize tonight, not only because he's an outstanding online student, but his circumstances and how he came to us was quite different. Him and his family experienced their house burning down. He and his family experienced their house fire. So he's been living the sweet life in Tucson for the past month and a half. I say that because they're living in a hotel right now. But his name is Danilo Rivas. And what Danilo has done in that time that he's been with us is 96 activities. That's pretty impressive for him coming from secondary where he was very successful, where he will be going back, but he blended in so smoothly into the online program that we were just so proud of him for doing that. We had to recognize him. So I hope you're listening. Mr. Rivas, congratulations. Okay, Jessica, make your way down here. Come on, Jess. So for the high school, our student of the month is Miss Jessica Puela. She could have been student of the month every single month if that were permissible. Just this month, she did 288 activities. And I know it's too late to correct my board report. I said a record-breaking. She corrected me. In the past, she has done more than that in a month. Jessica is the type of student who she works all day. Then she goes home and we see Edgenuity that she's been doing it from 3 o'clock in the morning until 5:30 until she gets back to school. She is an amazing, wonderful, beautiful young person who's going to be going to TOCC in the summer and starting her college career. And we are just so proud of this young lady. Pictures? They want some pictures, Jess. Come on. Thank you. What are you going to do when you're in Hollywood?
Yes. First, I want to say, because Isabindi had the most students of the month, I think they deserve a house point. Did they not? Yeah, excellent. I just like to do that because he likes to talk about Amistad all the time. So I just wanted to say that. But thank you so much for the evening. Again, this is the best part of our whole agenda. It is to recognize the achievements and the greatness that is our students. Thank you so much to all of our families, our supporters, everyone who helps these kids get up every day and who gives them the encouragement, and to the students themselves who encourage themselves from time to time. The motivation is definitely there, and we're hopeful and grateful to be able to help support that. Thank you on behalf of the Baboquivari Governing Board. We'll go ahead and take a break at this time to allow for pictures and mingling in the foyer. But other than that, we'll take a break. Thank you.
there was like this really huge one, and it was very. I got to go inside and actually kind of move around the mechanics and actually know a lot about the planes. It was very hot that day. I had to buy a hat because I didn't bring one. I think out of all the people that went, it was a very fun experience. And actually getting to see the Thunderbirds, that was a very cool experience. Thank you.
I would like to speak about the BHS alumni visits. Student Council has been recently inviting BHS alumni back onto campus. It's been nice hearing from BHS graduates. They've shared with us their experiences in high school and in college. So far, we had 3 presenters: Leilani Jose, who is an architect major from the University of Arizona. Susie Garcia is a recent graduate of the University of Arizona who majored in criminal justice, and Hanum Garcia, who will graduate this May from the University of Arizona with her bachelor's in criminal justice. We're looking forward to welcoming more alumni back onto campus. During the month of March, we also recognized our students for their accomplishments for the 3rd quarter. After the ceremony, Student Council provided popcorn for the students and their families. We are so proud of the all student award winners.
Hello, my name is Uriah Lewis. I am a freshman at Baboquivari High School. And we would also, on behalf of Student Council, would like to thank Superintendent Diaz with being able to make time to come with to our monthly meetings with Student Council. We would also like to give a big thanks to our board members for making time and to come to Student Council and to visit around the campus. And another thing is on May 5th, there will be a basketball tournament against all 4 houses, Isabindi, Rivera, Amistad, and Altruismo, in a basketball tournament at the primary on May 5th. Is there any questions?
President Buendia. I just want to take a moment to give a big shout out to our student council leaders, our young leaders, and I'm going to need everyone to please help me to recognize him and give him a big hand. Not for a couple of things. Number one, I'm very impressed at the amount of activities that you guys organize every single month. Number two, having to stand in front of the audience and having to prepare, it's a skill, and it's a skill that you're going to take with you forever. As scary as it may seem, you did a wonderful, phenomenal job. I want you to know that I'm very proud of you. Thank you.
Anything else from the board? Anything else, Anna?
Just thank you. Thank you for inviting us to your campus. It was a great experience to be there, and also to honor the seniors that are going to be graduating, and just sharing that information. I had a good time playing the games and the questions you asked, so it was fun.
Ms. Kathy?
I had so much fun that day. It was really fun, and to be able to witness one of your meetings and see how you all were involved in that meeting. It was really good to see, and I'm so happy that you guys are able to come and be a part of our board meetings, because it is going to help you in the long run. And I'm looking at you, when you said that you were scared before and now you're okay, and it shows. It shows you guys are really stepping up and moving forward, and I'm really glad, and I can't wait to see next month's.
Ms. Hendricks?
Hi. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry that I had to miss your luncheon or your lunch meeting. I actually got sick that week, and unfortunately, I was kind of really disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to attend. But I did get a lot of positive comments from other board members on how well your meeting went, and all the accomplishments that you're doing, all the activities that you're doing. I think they're really great. And I think that if you continue doing this, I think you will build the best morale around here on your campus. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the board members. Thank you guys so much. It is definitely truly an honor to have you present. I think that it's something we genuinely have tried to push for. So I'm really glad that you guys are stepping up and willing to come out and getting a little bit more comfortable. So trust me, it doesn't get as easier, but the more you practice at it, it starts to get a little bit better. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brewster.
Okay. Number 3 is our Baboquivari High School District Hymn Award. Superintendent Diaz.
President Buendia, and at this point, I would like to ask Mr. Martinez and Ms. Sudan to come up to the podium. We have a couple of awards that we would like to present today, and it's an honor for special guests to be here today to receive those awards. So, Mr. Martinez and Ms. Sudan, please come up.
Good evening, President Buendias, board members, Superintendent Diaz. I would like to congratulate Ms. Roque. She's our ESS teacher for the intermediate campus. She has been doing an exemplary job within this month in regards to our ESS compliances, as well as physical agendas and preparedness in regards to our services. So big congratulations to Ms. Roque. And just an added point, we are currently working on our ESS parental surveys. So big shout out to Ms. Roque for having 100% of those completed surveys being done. So thank you.
Thank you for your nomination, Mr. Martinez. Ms. Sudan, at this point, if you don't mind presenting your nomination.
Thank you. Good evening again. I'd like to call up Dr. Karen Francis Begay and Martha Lee from the University of Arizona. I nominated them for the Hemathic Award because we've been working closely with them for the last several months to develop a dual enrollment program that would allow our students to experience student life at the university level. This plan has come with logistical challenges, but Dr. Francis Begay and Ms. Lee have always been solutions-minded to eliminate as many barriers as possible. As a part of building up this collaboration, we planned a college tour so students could begin to gain familiarity with the campus and begin to envision themselves as students. The college visit was specifically designed for our Baboquivari High School students. Students learned about admission, financial aid, and housing. They were connected to valuable student resources that supported Indigenous students, such as the Native American Student Affairs, where they met other Anthem College students and participated in an activity with a mentor program called Native Soar. The day concluded with a self-guided tour and a women's basketball game. And we showed those highlights in last month's board video. The work that Dr. Francis Begay and Ms. Lee did to provide our students this opportunity went above and beyond our expectations. And it was evident that students enjoyed themselves and began to picture themselves as future Wildcats. So I'd really like to thank them for their support.
They're asking for permission to share a couple of words, President Buendia, and if they want to come up as well for the picture.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Karen Francis Begay, Assistant Vice Provost for Native American Initiatives, and happy to be joined by my colleague, Martha Lee, who is a program coordinator in our office. We just really had a wonderful time organizing this visit for the students in support of us being able to help them envision college and see themselves at the University of Arizona once they leave Baboquivari High School. We do have a special gift for the principal, Sudam, as well as the board and administration. So when the students were at the basketball game, we had a professional photographer who took a group picture of the students, juniors, and seniors down on the basketball court. Students were really excited to be on the court, but also to meet some of the women basketball players, as well as some of the former basketball players that are now in the WNBA who were there for that night's game. So just lots of excitement, but we had the image blown up, had the title put on it, and so there's 2 copies here, and just want to leave that with the district and with the school. Thank you.
Please come back to the middle so we can take a picture of you with your awards. You want a thumbs up? You want a heart? Thumbs up it is. Oh, Wildcat, all right. Hold on. Wildcat, sorry. Oh, a double Wildcat. Bear down, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, extra bubble wrap.
Just as a quick announcement, I know, especially for the Himnuck Award and the recognitions, I really am grateful whenever we have anyone who is recognized, especially for that honor. I think it's important to be able to recognize community partners and individuals within our district that are definitely being able to provide whatever assistance or encouragement, especially for our students. So thank you so much to everyone who, and to those that are nominating. Please do continue to nominate as much as possible. I think it's important to address and acknowledge those individuals as much as possible. So thank you, Superintendent Diaz, Mr. Martinez, Ms. Sudan. Appreciate it. Number 4 this evening is a presentation by Ms. Vivian Saunders.
Ska Hodinik was it Bamoy? Anyap Jagig Vivian Saunders, to Sapentat, Mapta Bujuk in Mark Diambo. Iti Hodinik Mandamo Hajambam up, Amjurka Manhasiwa, Amjurka Manyataka Marshjum dam, Upo Hajum Tan, Hashabot, Modem up in school board, Matmo, Boche, how up there. Pitasaju. Good evening, school board members, Chairman Bendia, Superintendent Diaz. I recognize Mr. Sabala for assisting me through this process. And it's really an honor to be here, and thank you for providing me the time. This evening, I have April 12th. I thought the meeting was tomorrow, but so would like to, first of all, state that I am here for 2 reasons. One, to present to you my dissertation outline. I am also a student. Learning is lifelong, and also to make a request of the school board and leave it to you to decide at the end of the presentation. And I'm more than welcome or happy to return if you have additional questions in the future. I'm a member of the Tono Nation from Chukutkuk, Chukshan, which is Oidak, that's south of here, and I'm also a proud graduate of Baboquivari High School, class of 1977, when the high school was in cells at the middle school. I'm very heartfelt to see all of the awards presented this evening and all of the recognition and all of the wonderful work that the school is doing for all students within our nation. Currently, I'm enrolled at Grand Canyon University College of Doctoral Studies in Organizational Leadership. I'm a EDD candidate, and I began my program in the fall of 2020, and that was at the height of the pandemic. And this kept me sane, to be honest. And I want to acknowledge my husband, Richard, who's here this evening. Been very supportive throughout this journey. I have a Master of Arts degree from the University of Arizona in American Indian Studies and Public Policy, and Bachelor of Arts in Education from Arizona State University. The purpose of tonight's presentation is to update the school board on the research study and to request permission and assistance by notifying BHS school students who completed college and career readiness program from 2018 to 2021 to contact myself if they are interested in participating in the research study. The research study itself, the title of my dissertation is How American Indian and Alaska Native Students Perceive College and Career Readiness Programs. The methodology is qualitative descriptive design, and I wanted to just express that this type of research generates data that describes the who, what, and where of events or experiences from a subjective perspective, and that's citation Kim et al. 2027. And just to share that what you have in front of you is 15 pages, but I condensed that from a 40-page document. And I did provide Mr. Sabala a copy of that 40-page document in case you want a copy of that. My literature review consists of 15 or more citations, but I pulled just 2 for your information. Nelson and Youngblood 2022 reported that only 19% of American Indian and Alaska Native aged 18 to 24 are currently enrolled in post-secondary institutions. Nelson and Youngblood in 2022 reported that the U.S. Census data shows that institutions of higher education are failing to provide college pathways for Indigenous students. I will also state that it's been very difficult to find research within the last 5 years on American Indian and Alaska Native students in high school and transitioning to institutions of higher learning. The problem space, Fung et al. 2022 suggested that drawing from the voices of Indigenous students could form the foundation from which Indigenous-centered surveys could capture more nuanced conceptualization of success. So that's just one of many citations. They tell us that we're not experts until we receive our doctoral degree. And if there's a problem that we want to solve, too bad. We have to look at existing research and pull from that and expand and move forward. Theoretical foundation that I selected is Lowe et al. 2019 reported that Native American reliance emerged due to a limited available Native American theoretical frameworks. And in working with my dissertation committee, they had other suggestions, which were also excellent suggestions. However, I felt that it was important to stick with a Native themed foundation. And I'm not sure if you can see this, but it's a Native reliance theory, seeking truth, making connections, being responsible, caring to provide, having an income, requesting assistance for what is necessary, caring for others, respecting others, being present, being accountable, calling on the Creator in our need, being disciplined, seeking a vision, making decisions based on, reading that, on honor and defending the vision, sharing the vision, counseling with elders, accepting the vision, speaking the vision in traditional native language. And I want to thank you, all of you, especially the non-Tanawatam who make an effort to speak our language and to recognize the importance of our language. Being confident, having a sense of identity, being proud of Native heritage, accepting Native beliefs, and having a sense of self-worth. My first year in college, I went to Central Arizona Junior College. They asked me to describe myself using my last name. And I could not think of anything positive to say about myself using my last name. And as the years went by, what came to my mind is Juan in a million, Juan of a kind. And so I started to feel more confident in myself as just as a person. And that is attributed to many mentors in my life. The research study theme has 10 themes, and I only pulled 3 to share with you tonight. Being responsible, understanding that as members of our community, we are asked to help our community and to help make decisions. And while 2020 advocated that we must remain aware of our own individual responsibility in our tribal societies. And without a high school diploma, GED, students cannot enroll in college. And Model reported that as a result of American Indian Alaska Native high school students not graduating from high school, fewer American Indians are eligible for post-secondary education than any other group. Personal decision-making is critical, such as a student who took responsibility by acknowledging that when she was faced with challenges in school, she failed to inform her instructor of personal things that she was faced with. There's a tendency for American Indian Alaska Native students to fall in that category because we sometimes feel like others won't understand our culture, so to speak. Being disciplined to promote self-efficacy, beliefs, personal goals to help students become disciplined. Understanding student perception of CCR programs help instill discipline in students. And it's also important for institutions of higher learning to welcome students. Fong 2021 reported that dominant narratives can move away from blaming students for a lack of resilience and move towards institutional responsibility and structural changes. Being confident, being in the majority population builds self-confidence, but once you step off the nation, and especially in a university setting, oftentimes American Indian, Alaska Native students are the only student in a class of 100. AM 2020 reported that American Indians, Alaska Native students have been taught to sit and stay quiet, yet we are in dire need of change. And our population of students who engage in supportive environment earn higher grade point average and achieve academic success. Fong 2021 advocated that Native American undergraduate students who perceived a positive academic social context reported earning higher grade point averages as compared to students who did not perceive such an environment. The research study, total population of American Indian Alaska Native students begins this journey. Students aged 18 to 24 who completed CCR programs, integrated post-secondary education data system enrollment trends between 2000-2016 shows that less than 139,000 and 129,000 American Indian Alaska Natives are enrolled in higher education, respectively, Nelson and Youngblood. And then we downsized the total population in the United States to our target population, and that is 100 students who meet that same criteria. And these students can be identified through other students who know other students and have a snowball effect to identify these students to participate in the study. Recruitment through social media and through a school notice to participants who meet criteria, and that's basically the request that I'm making if that falls within your approval. And that can be done in many ways. I can prepare a letter that the superintendent can send if that data of individuals is still available. I know of individuals who meet the criteria. I can contact and ask them who was in your CCR program, who was in your dual enrollment program. I also viewed a video on your website of the class of 2020, and the students identified themselves, identified their participation in dual enrollment, and which school, college that they were accepted or were considering. So those are different resources. And then my final sample population that I am seeking is 25 American Indian Alaska Native students aged 18 to 24 who completed a CCR program. And 25 students may not sound like a whole lot, but my dissertation committee is concerned and I want to make sure that I have the 25 students. So they've expanded this sample population. They want me to look at other schools within the southwestern United States. And so this is, and then some students who may agree to participate may drop out for whatever reason. Maybe they don't feel comfortable moving forward or personal challenges that do come up. The research questions: how do American Indian Alaska Native students describe CCR programs? How do they describe challenges during their participation in CCR programs? How do they describe their self-confidence during their participation in CCR programs? The instrumentation and data sources, because of the qualitative descriptive method that I'm using, I'll be conducting two data sources. One is interviewing 15 students who completed college and career readiness program through their school district during the academic year 2018 to 2021. And the second is a focus group identifying 10 students to come together in a safe environment to have this discussion amongst themselves and to record and make observations of that focus group. Data collection: this is a list of all the approvals that I will need in my dissertation study. Site approval: this could be considered a site approval here tonight. Permission to use each instrument or data source: getting permission from those individuals who created the surveys, obtain administrative guide and validation of information on each data sources from owner literature, results of field tests for qualitative studies, results of expert panel review for qualitative instruments such as interviews or observations, GCU chair and committee approvals, academic quality review approval, institutional review of board approval at Grand Canyon University, and then the tribal government institutional review board approval. And then the individuals who participate in the study will also fill out and sign a consent form. The steps, researcher will understand the school district by studying its mission and vision on public school website. And depending on the status of COVID, I'll identify the population, and when advertising and implementing the interview schedule, the researcher will acknowledge health protocols. And if the participants feel more comfortable conducting a virtual interview, then I will respect that as well. As I stated, I will interview 15 students and 10 students for the focus group. The benefit to participants is to strengthen CCR programs by educating policymakers regarding the importance of CCR programs for secondary schools to emphasize capacity building within tribal nations. Your school board, the tribal government structure of the Tohono Nation or any tribal government, state policymakers, federal policymakers, is really important to provide data. And just to conclude, I just want to express that experts in the field agree that there's very limited journal articles on, as I stated, American Indian, Alaska Native high school students making that transition to college or to a career. And I appreciate authors that I'm reading now, because the goal for future researchers is for someone else to use their research that they spent a lot of time conducting. So this concludes the presentation. If you have any questions and answers,
Thank you,
I will
Mrs.
provide the answers.
Thank you, Mrs. Saunders. Marjorie Kaka, Ms. Stevens.
The only question that I had, and I think you addressed it, was whether or not you could go through the nation's hierarchy process. But I think this is good information to gather. Been working in higher ed for a long time. These are struggles I think we face working with high school students to try to get them into college or into a career, and keeping track of that data that's available, understanding like how can we assist students when they're moving forward. So I commend you, because it's great to see someone else getting a PhD program, because us as Autumn, we don't have that many PhD candidates or people who have a PhD. So I commend you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Vance.
I just want to also thank you for the presentation, and it's really good that the students will be able to express reasons or why, and it's going to help them in the end to get to where they're going, and building that self-confidence, because it is true that Autumn students grow up knowing or are told to be quiet and be still and listen, and yet the world that they live in now, it's not. It's different. It's different from when we were or our elders were young, and so they do need to be proactive in making sure that they are seen and feel that they are a part of and should be and belong in those universities, or to continue that is very important. So I really, when I read this earlier, I was really glad that you are doing this, because for me, you have always been, like you said, you've been in education, and that's how I view you. You've always been, and that you're still in that, looking at being educated, and that's what our kids need to see. That they belong there, they belong out there. So it's really for me, it's really touching to see. And to me, it's personal. It's personal because it's a journey for all our kids, and that's what we here as BUSD is trying to get our kids to understand that they have that light, they have that opportunity, they come from strong people and they need to just work hard and to continue, and they belong those places, they belong in those universities, and it's really it's touching for me. So thank you.
I just wanted to add something. I was going to mention to you to also probably reach out to TOCC because we did have a program with BHS called the START program. And that was a START program. I think it started, my daughter's was in ninth grade and she's a sophomore now at university. But that program worked with all those students in that age range. And it was really helpful because we did offer a lot of those opportunities for them to explore and bring in guest speakers. Right now, we are working with Tanya to try to start up kind of a similar program, but it was a great program.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Ms. Hendricks?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation, Vivian. I think I agree with everything that has been said, but also I'd like to just add that I know that we did have a strong career college readiness program. I don't know where we're at right now, but I really would like to see that come back and continue. And I have had grandchildren going through that program. Also, it is important that they realize that these type of programs get them ready, as you know, the title says, college and career readiness. You know, and I remember you back in high school when you were working toward going where you were going, and you had a lot of ambition, you had a lot of goals that you had set for yourself, which I think you've accomplished majority of them. And it's good to see that you're continuing, especially to your, you know, continuing and getting your doctorate at this point. Congratulations.
Just to round out, as far as other governing board members have stated, I think it's definitely something, especially as policymakers, to be able to see and hear, because I think we recognize, and as board members, we're given a lot of information and guidance, but it's never ever directed towards what we deal with. It's directed towards the bigger, you know, like we're talking about these other types of instances. But we do know that it's very different when dealing with Native children, autumn children, especially in particular. So I just want to say 100% I agree that you have been such a model for, I think, education and the effort that it brings. So I want to say thank you so much for presenting. I don't think that the board has anything against moving forward with whatever we need in approval wise. Superintendent Diaz, I don't know if you have anything specifically. Go ahead, Ms. Hendricks. Go ahead, Ms. Hendricks. Hold on.
I just wanted to add, Vivian, that I guess when you get through your process of getting this off the ground, completing your research and getting your results, I'm assuming you'll actually come back and present what your results are of your research.
Yes, I would be more than happy to do that.
Okay.
Perfect.
If not, we have your contact information.
Yes.
We know how to chase you down. Soon to be Dr. Saunders.
Thank you.
I want you to know how proud I am of the work that you're doing and information you're seeking, and most importantly, for that wisdom that you're going to collect and give us direction in how else we can improve as an institution. Thank you for being a role model. Thank you for being a bridge for many of our future generations and showing the way in how to get to the ending path. Congratulations in finishing your program. I know you're going to get there. You're soon to be there. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to conclude by stating that I was previously enrolled in a doctoral program when I was elected the chairwoman of the Tohono Nation, and I just could not do both. You have to decide one or the other. So I stepped away at the time, and so it's been a goal, especially the topic that I'm interested in. My exposure to higher education was I was 11 years old. My mother attended a summer school program for a teacher education program at ASU, and she didn't have a babysitter. And I was the youngest of um, three girls and then three brothers. So she took me with her to ASU, and that was my exposure. And hopefully it won't be by luck, but by a structured process that our students will be exposed. And I was glad to hear the earlier presentation of exposure to Baboquivari High School students. So thank you. Deheke?
Apo, thank you.
Kamanye.
Amye.
We'll go ahead and continue with our agenda this evening. Number 5 is our mutual link presentation. Mr. Diaz, you want to introduce?
Absolutely. Thank you for being here, President Buendia and members of the board. We do have a representative that is going to walk us through this great opportunity to how we can increase our safety for our schools. I would like to also thank for the long drive that our guests today had to make to be here tonight, to be in person. And I look forward to for the governing board to look at the presentation and the benefit that they will have. We also have a follow-up meeting that is going to be in conjunction, in which Mr. Bates will also going to be learning a lot more regarding compatibility with this particular software as well as equipment needed. Sir, welcome aboard, and we look forward to hearing your presentation.
Thank you, Superintendent Diaz, board. Appreciate it. The drive down here wasn't that bad. It was the drive once I got down here trying to find was the challenge. GPS was a little struggle, but Ann helped me out. Thank you, Ann. So I just want to, Ms. Saunders, tons of success. Very, very impressive. I do have to say that after seeing everybody up here on stage with all your student of the months, all your student councils, there's no doubt in my mind that there's a ton of college graduates up here that will do very well and succeed in college. So congratulations, you're raising the next generation. So very, very proud. The reason I'm here is we are part of an Arizona school safety solution. We had a kickoff meeting with your public district safety committee. So that was Superintendent Diaz and Mr. Martinez and Mr. Roloff that were on that call. We also had Lieutenant Delgado from TOPD, SRO Lieutenant Hellig from TOPD, and then TOFD Chief Arnold, as well as the Agent Gonzalez from CVP were on that call. So we went over the presentation and we were asked to come down and present to the board for any further next steps. So who we are. So Mutual Link is a middleware software. We provide that it does not take anything in that you currently have. We're not replacing anything, we're adding to it. So our goal is to make sure that we're keeping the kids as safe as possible. So all your kids, all your grandkids that are going to these schools, we want to make sure that if there is an active shooter or any kind of a major incident at these schools, that we can get police there as quickly as possible. We've seen that in the past that it average takes about 5 minutes for law enforcement to get to a school during one of these events, which is far too long. So our goal is to get them there within seconds and not have to worry about finding the right area to get in to the school. So why does it go wrong? Where have we kind of gone wrong in the past? There's been a lot of school safety solutions out there, a lot of things that have been supposedly going to be working really, really well. A lot of those are for after the fact. They're not to help out during the event. What we're looking to do is we're key for that first 5 minutes. After that, everything else is probably going to be a little bit better solution for what you're looking for. But what we do is we're going to get everybody there first off. We're not worried about any kind of communication between school and police. We're not missing the real-time visibility into the schools. All that's going to come to fruition when the software gets embedded. I apologize, this slide was different than what I saw. So from where we are FERPA compliant, we're cyber secure, and we are resilient. So everything that we do is going to be FERPA compliant. Any of the cameras that are being broadcast into the law enforcement PSAP centers are going to be for emergency purposes only. So they will not be able to log in and just see what Johnny's doing in fifth period during lunch. Everything is going to be done to those standards. After the event is over, all of that data is going to be erased. So we're not storing anything, any confidential information. No pictures, no video, no files, nothing's being stored on any of our servers. How it works. So we've partnered up with a company called Raptor. Raptor is a panic button solution that goes on your phones. It can also be done as a hard button panic button in an admin building. 911 has always been a very, very successful way to get a hold of law enforcement, fire, EMS when we need it. The downside is when there's an emergency, everything gets very, very backed up and jammed at the 911 center. They may only have one or two agents or dispatchers working there, which is going to get very, very overwhelmed in the event of a major incident. What we're doing is we're creating that panic button that's going to go directly into the PSAP center and tap in right to that dispatcher. So they're going to immediately notice that there's an event going on within seconds. They're going to have video from inside that school. They're going to have a map of the school, and they're also going to be able to communicate with anybody inside that school from an administrative standpoint. So your administrators inside the schools will be able to talk with the SWAT commanders or any other responding law enforcement agencies from TOPD, Pima County Sheriff, Tucson Police Department, Pinal County. I know you guys cross into 3 counties here. Any of those agencies, whatever's closest, will be able to respond. I know a lot of CBPs down here as well, so we can work with CBP to get them involved in this as well. They may be your closest responding officers. So we'll work through with you and your team to make sure we get the key people that are going to be part of that. Once that happens, that direct notification goes over. Again, we create that instant communication between the school and the police, and then we create that real-time visibility within that PSAP center. Do you guys currently have, you guys don't currently have any kind of a panic button. This is what it looks like. So this is the Raptor panic button. It goes on the teacher's cell phones or administrator's cell phones. We do provide it. Again, it is part of the program. If there's an emergency, you can slide that over, and it immediately logs into the 911 PSAP. The nice thing about this program is it can also be used, you see the other 5 buttons up there, outside of lockdown. It can be used for intercommunication between the school and then inter-district as well. So if you need to communicate, I need a principal up at the front, there's an irate parent, or there's a kid vaping in the parking lot, I can now call assistance in via my Raptor app instead of going through the PA system or talking over the radios. And then this is one of my favorite slides. I like this because I don't, just like you, I'm a parent, grandparents, have kids in school. I don't like seeing anything that has to do with school safety because it's concerning to me as a parent. What I do like about this slide, though, is it shows that outside of just the school safety piece of it, which is hopefully few and far between, it allows you to use the solution for a much larger purpose. So it allows you to get your bus drivers involved. It allows you to get anything that may not have a radio currently, access to this system to be able to communicate over a 2-way radio, share video, share text files, share other PDF or other JPEG files back and forth amongst each other. So you can see up there just kind of who all we can help out with and work with. Any mass casualty events, anything coming across the border, we can be notified. We'll lock down a school from the other side. We can do access control. So if your schools have access control in there, we can lock and unlock doors remotely. We can make announcements over the PA system during events. So all of that stuff can be automated the second that button is pressed. We can also make sure that the emergency management is notified, as well as hospitals and fire EMS, so that they know that they're going to be having people coming to see them. They can get their beds in hospitals ready to go when those people come in. This is what it looks like on the PSAP side. So I like to show this. Obviously, you're concerned with the school side, what it looks like from your side. What it looks like when it goes into dispatch is this screen right here. So when that panic button goes off, so on the left there, you've got the soft panic button. Just past that, you have the right with the hardened panic button. And then on the right here is the big screen. So that is what's going to pop up. If your schools have a map, we will load those in at the dispatch center. When that school pops up as having an incident, you'll see the green box there that says TX right there. That will be our incident. That will allow us to communicate back and forth via radio and our dispatch. The map on the back is the map of the school, and each one of those red icons is a camera angle. So as my dispatcher, I can say, hey, my panic button was pressed over here in room, let's call it 202. I can now zoom in on those cameras and see what's going on and get my responding officers information as to what's going on. There's smoke in the cafeteria. The students are in out the east exit. Again, giving them that situational awareness so they can make those decisions prior to arriving onto your campus. The other beautiful thing about having the map is if there's agents, say a Border Patrol agent that may not have ever stepped foot on one of your campuses, they will now be able to know exactly where that is because they will have that map as they're responding to the incident. You can see also the way we do the cameras is over the map. Instead of doing a drop down, trying to find which camera you're looking for is going to be very, very cumbersome and time consuming trying to find during an emergency. So we do a little visual here. So all that said, so we have some pretty fancy technology that's going to definitely hopefully save some lives and, knock on wood, hopefully never have to be used here. What it has been done is the state has passed 2 bills. One of them was an interoperability budget. So that was for remote communities being able to communicate with law enforcement. Obviously, being rural communities, you have a much fewer officers to help out with in an emergency. So they were trying to get people to get people from further out into your areas. it expanded into a school safety bill, so now it includes the schools in that. So now the schools are part of this and being now brought into the law enforcement side of things. Everything has been funded 100%. So we have funded the state at it's $24 million for the state. Each county sheriff has received those fundings, and that's going to be through June of 2025, funded completely. Once the county, or in Tucson's case, Tucson, signs in with the contract, every school and every law enforcement partner is covered in full with all hardware and software to do this for 3 years. So we're not going to come in and add cameras, but we will use the cameras you currently have. We're going to use the radios you currently have. We're going to use the laptops you currently have. Everything will be existing, and then we'll tie it all together, provide NICs into the network, and provide that interoperability that we're looking for. Again, no funding is needed from anybody outside of the county or the city of Tucson. So here's where we are so far. And Santa Cruz is going to Board of Supervisors on Tuesday, so we'll have Santa Cruz up there as well. We're in these counties. So we're Grand Pinal, Gila, Navajo, Yavapai, Mojave, and La Paz. Currently, we're working on Pima, which is actually Tucson, and then we're working on Coconino and Apache as well. So once these all get brought out, we'll have this big network of agencies and schools that will be able to be called on in an emergency and used as needed moving forward. And that is all I had. Any questions or comments on the solution? There you go. There's some cool screenshots up there.
Questions from the board? I don't have. Go ahead, Anna.
I would just like to hear from the principals or the people that were part of the committee, any feedback, or because this is something that's going to be utilized in the schools. If you feel like this is something that is definitely, I mean, I know like with the climate, what's happening at other school districts, I know it's something that's really needed, but I would like to hear from the principals or anyone from the committee.
Well, Mr. Diaz is on the committee. Do you have comments you want to share first?
Members of the board, President Bonilla, members of the board, I was part of the committee, and based on the multiple benefits that I can see that can benefit my schools, my administrators, and the way we can improve our safety and our response, that's the reason why I'm bringing it to your attention, because I personally support this system and the way that it can take us to a much greater level, and also in a much greater level of partnership. I would like to also request some of my principals who are also part of the committee, they want to share or add to the presentation or answer the questions to the governing board member. Thank you, Ms. Sudan, for raising your hand.
Also, was there somebody from emergency management a part of their committee, or is that coming after the fact?
I'm not on the committee.
Well, I'm going to ask Corbin to answer that one in a minute.
I would just say, Ms. Sedan, and we don't mean to throw it on you. Like, hey, just after seeing this, do you feel like, I guess the question is there something you want to comment, because we want to hear from you as a principal?
You know, I am all for anything that's going to be preventative. I am a proponent of not waiting until something happens before we decide to make these decisions. And so if there's anything we can do to get support, especially out here, faster and better, to protect all of the kids, any guests that we have, our teachers and staff, I'm 100% on board.
Thank you, Ms. Sudan. Ms. Gordon, you were also part of the committee. Would you like to share or add something? No? Okay, thank you. I'm just kidding. No, please, welcome to the podium.
I don't mean to put anybody on the spot, but I just like to hear some feedback.
So Mark and I met in Tucson at the Pima County Command Center, and I waited to talk to Mark afterwards, kind of just like, I'm like, okay, is he done talking yet? Is he done? And then had him set up this meeting because unfortunately, you never know where and when. And sometimes it's not a question of if anymore. And the dynamics that come behind anybody, like in how it happens, sometimes there's no way to figure all that out. So the more that we can do to better improve our communications with any entity on the nation, and that could be working with the nation and helping to upgrade our PD and our electronics and our cameras. And you think about how small our PD is here, you got 2 people in dispatch, and the number of calls that even come into the school because there's an emergency, there's just a lockdown, how things ended up getting busy and crazy. To have somebody objective, kind of third party off, looking at this, okay, this is what needs to be done. This is where the person is. There's so much of a stress relief just thinking about having that in place for me. And of course, the social emotional piece is all part of this. We're always dealing with traumas, right? So if we can do something ahead of the team to lessen a possible trauma, let's do it.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. And I'm sure the short conversation after your presentation was, 3 hours or 4 hours, Ms. Gordon?
Ms. Hendricks has a question.
Yeah, I just have a question. That diagram, the dual use infrastructure investment, where you have all those contact people. Border Patrol, would that be part of that structure?
Absolutely. So anybody that's on there, so I don't know if you can see that map, there was a map on that left screen up there. So in the event of an emergency, it'll actually pop up. You can see that map. It'll geofence where your school is, where the emergency was. It'll show where all the different people are. So there could be a CBP agent there. There could be a TOFD fire chief there. There could be anybody from an outlying agency. There could be a Tucson police officer that's passing through town. That could be up there on your geofence map that now is going to get that alert saying you're the closest responding officer, you're heading over there. So yes, it can be brought in on all those. If you've got a DPS officer down here, we can absolutely bring them in. So we can't do 7,000 licenses for all CBP officers, but if there are a couple of them here that you work with on the reservation, we can absolutely work with them and bring them on board. Yeah, great question. Correct. The BIA schools will also be invited. So this is encompassing of everybody. We are working through the counties right now. So Pinal County is on board. Pima is working through council right now. And then what was the third county you guys were part of? Okay. So Maricopa we're still working on. Pima and Pinal. So Pinal's done. So that's why we're working on with TOPD, getting them on board, working with Lieutenant Delgado to get them going. Once Pima comes on board, we'll have the rest of the schools. Because what we're going to run into issues with is if Tucson doesn't sign on, we're going to have a big gap in between those two agencies. If there is an emergency, it's actually going to do more harm than good. So we want to make sure we get all the law enforcement partners up and running ready first, and then we'll bring all the schools in. But once they sign on, all the schools are invited on that. So all law enforcement agencies, all schools are invited to be part of this network at no cost through the county or city grants.
So speaking of signing on, and 100% agree with Ms. Sudan. I think as much as we have been proactive, the school district is going to be really dependent on getting the nation on board. And I mean that in all respects because if you're listening to anything on the radio this week, they're having some very real difficulties in just systems. And this sounds like it's going to be very necessary to have that very good system and capabilities. So I applaud the school district, and I 100% agree we need to do something because but that aspect of making sure that we're including them and that they're at the table and they're understanding we're going to go forward. You need to be ready for that to go forward as well. And I don't mean in any sense other than it. I hope it helps to press on them as well that we need to be more proactive and not wait for something to happen because, again, like you said, Ms. Gordon, it's not if anymore. But I just wanted to say that because I don't want us to go all gung-ho and then they don't meet and we can't do it. But I do appreciate it so much because it sounds like, trust me, this is exactly what I was asking about and possibly doing. I don't know if Mr. Bates has any comments at this point. Go ahead, sir.
We do. So, yeah, absolutely. So what we'll do is after we sit down, we have you guys opting in from the school. We'll now sit down with your admin person as well as IT, and we'll sit down and find out what cameras are accessible, what people are going to be in charge of helping identify other people running trainings. But once those cameras are identified and other radios are identified, we install radio and video NICs inside of either the console or where those NVRs or DVRs are stored. Once those are done, they now become up in the cloud as part of the mutual link solution and accessible during the event of an emergency. So we do with a video NIC. If it's a DVR, if it's an NVR, we'll just tap through the IP addresses.
The other factor is the capacity. I would say, I mean, I'm sure we're good, but I think. Are any, are any of you on this committee? I just wondered because I wondered, I think on the structure that we have now currently, has it been kind of reviewed or did we go over it? Like, what do we have in video and what do we have on all of the technology? I know we're tech heavy, of course, but. So we're gonna increase it or are we gonna? Okay. Okay. Sweet. So you still have some efforts to make on the Pima County side, and we have some to do on our side, and then the nation certainly has some catching up to do. So I just wanted to put that out there because I know this sounds great and I want to do it tomorrow, but I know it also takes some time. Mr. Diaz, did you have something else?
No, President Moody. Thank you.
Are there any other? Go ahead, Mr. Sabala.
There are no agreements with MutualLink at all. So the only agreements that we have are with either the county and MutualLink or the city of Tucson and MutualLink. So everything else is just, you're part of their contract. So unless you require an MOU, we don't require one from our side. So in the county, Pinal County, and does not right now, I don't know what Pima is going to do, but there are no MOUs required. If you choose to do one, you can, but it's not something that we require.
So the other factor to be mindful of is any tribal memorandums of understanding and stuff like that.
Right.
Just to put that out there. To protect, for sure.
And we can absolutely do that. Again, it's all FERPA compliant. So any video that's shared, as soon as that incident's over, that connection's gone. So everybody knows that video is being reviewed and seen during the event of emergency. And President Medina, you made a comment about being able to use this and having a lot of work to do as you grow out. Well, the one thing we don't want to do is wait, is if you're ready to go, we're ready to go as well. So we'd rather launch it now, get everything in there, and then grow with you, as opposed to waiting until you get ready or you think you're ready. So we can go ahead and add things in there as you see fit. So we don't need to have any cameras currently. We can come back and add cameras later on, or connect your cameras later on, or add more cameras later on. So it doesn't have to be done all right now, because we'd hate to see something happen as we're doing technology upgrades. Let's get everything in there first if it's something that you approve of and see fitting, and then we can go back and hook up more technology or new technology as you see fit.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Sorry.
I just want to kind of
Go ahead,
make
Ms.
a
Vance.
comment here. Thank you for the presentation, but I also am concerned that our Downtown Police Department is not on board. I mean, it sounds good, and especially that there's no funding needed from us, and but that connection that we have with the community and our law enforcement, our first responders, all of that. It seems like the hospital, the fire department, the police department, all those entities need to be involved in this, so that way we know that it's going to be a true benefit. Because right now it does sound good, but if we don't, or if there's it's not ready yet, they need to be on board. So that's my concern.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that the cameras and all of that. So I just want to, like Mr. Bundia was saying, that all of those things need to be happening too, for us to move forward as well.
Correct.
And then just a recommendation to Superintendent Diaz, I would just start to confer whether or not you want to have any conversations with HRDC. I mean, maybe just, there's always a process or some procedure that we'll have to take. I'm not saying we don't want to do it, but I just want to be sure that we're covering all the bases, because as we said, we have been so proactive in the sense of trying to move things. It's not always us that is the drawback, so to speak. I know that there's definitely some things in the systems wise, when we're talking about data systems especially, that the nation just isn't at par yet, at the par that it needs to be. But we are, because of the expertise that we try to put into place, especially with our technological advances, and especially because COVID was the reason we had to really boost it all up. But we're the school district, and we only have so much capacity. I think. I mean, and the available. We only have so much we can approve without that other hand to be able to say, okay, yeah, mutually, let's do this. It'll be really great. I think there are definitely people in the force or in the area that can and will push for it. But I'm very positive, and I don't mean to be negative, but positive. We're probably going to have to kind of work through it. Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Diaz.
President Buendia, as long as I know that we have the board's blessing, I want to be able to use the influence of the school district to be the agent that will inspire other agencies within the community so that we can jump on board. I think we all have the same concern in mind and the same intent in mind. But I would like to continue to also put the time and effort in getting to what we all need to get for this program to work, not only by the school district. I will need guidance once again to go through all of the different agencies within the nation. But this is something that I see that we can all benefit, and we all gonna find areas to improve. Whenever we get to the ending line, and how we get to the ending line, I know we'll find it along the way.
One
But
of
as
the
long as we
recommendations. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say, Anthony Manuel just reached out about they're resubmitting their emergency preparedness plans to FEMA. Be really good to get in there with them at this point because they're starting to they're redoing it, and so if this is the catalyst that's gonna say, okay, yeah, this is where we can actually make a huge effort together. But I would also recommend, and I know well, you know the other agencies that we need to also have included. So I would definitely recommend, because whatever that misunderstanding is between the nation and the utility authority, I really don't like to be in the middle of it because it doesn't do anyone any benefit when we're arguing that fact. The fact is, this needs to happen. This needs to work. And the only people that suffer from it are the kids if anything happens, and all of the people that are at the schools. So I just want to continue to press on that, and we'll help you. And thank you so much, sir, again. But I definitely think that we're all in support. We just will know that there's some work to do on our end, but it's not anything that's.
And understand, and please lean on us. We're more than happy to help. We have a team of people that can help with some of those. We can help knock down doors. We can help make those phone calls. So please rely on us. We have resources that you can make phone calls, site visits. So please let us know what you're looking for as well. We can make sure we can set those resources up as well to help make those decisions a little bit easier for you and your team.
Perfect. Appreciate that.
Mr. Taylor, we thank you, and we appreciate the presentation and also your knowledge on this matter. And we will be definitely knocking at your door for also guidance and support in moving this forward.
Perfect. Excellent. Appreciate it. Thank you, board. Thank you, superintendent.
Thank you for taking the trip out here.
Oh, no
and
problem.
don't get lost on the way back.
If not, stop any immigration, and they'll let you know where to go. No, they've done that.
All right.
Watch for the
Watch
cattle.
out for the cattle. It's an open range for sure. Okay. Just be careful.
All right. Number 6, CBIZ presentation, employee benefit recommendations. Mr. Diaz.
President Wendy, at this point, I want to ask Darlene Meese, our HR director, to support us with a CBIZ presentation for benefits and answer any questions that you may have. Team, put your hands together and welcome the one and only, the one of a kind from faraway land, Ms. Meese.
Mr. Diaz and Ms. Meese, if you don't mind, if we can just address any of the changes as opposed to the entire document. Does that help?
So,
A lot. Thank you.
okay, I don't know how to use this. So the medical renewal, we've been meeting with CBIZ since January. We do a kind of an initial of what we're looking for. They provide the data that's needed that creates the increases that the district has to look at every year. And so she did provide the historical data, the options that we were able to look at. One of them was moving away from the classic gold, which in 2021 school year, we did do that with, we had it was called a copay gold, which was the highest tier that they could offer, that employees didn't have to pay any copays. Excuse me. There was, it was a very rich plan. That was what it was like a Cadillac plan is what they told us. So we went away from it in school year 2021. We used that as a buy-up plan. At that time, employees were paying $44 every month to keep that copay gold. The Arizona School Board Association did start moving away from that particular plan. We went to a classic gold for the next 2 years. That bring our rates down. And so right now what we're looking at is moving down another tier to, it's called classic silver. The classic gold had, there's some rates on there that are higher that help us reduce the amount that we're paying. If you can go to the next slide. Okay, so the initial that they gave us, so in March, they look at all the claims that have been paid from July 1 into December. Because of that, they look at, it's called a medical loss ratio, and that's how they determine what the district has to pay. So at that point, for those 6 months, it was at 97.6. We are self-funded insurance, and so everybody, all the premiums that are paid into the plan, it pays for all the claims. And so at that time, they look at those trends. So every year, those trends change depending on health, depending on if there's employees or their spouse that are on the plan that have higher claims during that time. So what they try to do is we try to balance that to what we're looking at. CBIZ does help us with looking at different plans that are going to help to reduce our premiums every year. So at this time, we did look at like I said, we did look at a classic silver to bring down that plan. You can go ahead and move to the next one. And so the plans, it just kind of shows you how the increase, and not only does it does the medical loss ratio play into this, but also our cost of living increases that took place last year, and that was across every groceries, not only everything, gas, housing, all that played into the increase. And so if you look at the average that we've had with 8 years of being with ASBATE, it increases it and decreases, and it depends on like I said, the medical loss ratio. 1 year we had a claim for over $1 million, and that was the year that we had to go up by 12%. Looking at those throughout the year and the trends, we have had 2 RFPs. That was in 2018 and then 2020. The RFPs, one of the things that we were reminded is that we have to look at those medical loss ratios. So when we provide insurance company with that data, they look at it and they'll give you a good offer the first year, but then they will push up that amount the year after that. So they'll give you a good plan, but based on what they've seen in the trends in our coverage, they will use that and determine the cost after that. So at this point, if you can move to the next slide. At this point, what we decided is that if you look at the classic gold and the classic silver, this is a side-by-side comparison. You look at what I tell employees when they look at what they're selecting, your calendar year deductible for if you stay within the network is you'd have to meet that $250 medical bills before the percentage starts. Before you start paying a percentage of your care. So if you look at Classic Gold, it's 15 after that calendar year deductible is met. If you go outside the Banner network and you go into an Aetna network, your calendar year deductible is higher. So they don't reach that 15% until after they reach that 720 in medical costs. We looked at the Classic Silver, which also that increased by $140, and we were able to look at they're paying 5% more in coverage, but we also want them to look at the out-of-pocket max. If we had an employee that had a catastrophic injury, and say they're going through, they have cancer, they're diagnosed, they have to go through treatment and all that. Once they reach that out-of-pocket max of $3,200 in medical bills, then they no longer have, they've met that amount. So those percentages, it's just paid. Their coverage is just paid by the plan because at that point they've already met that calendar year deductible. And I remember when we did change over to the Classic Gold was at $5,000. So they had to meet that before they reached that out-of-pocket max. So we wanted to look at the two side by side, and we know it's increasing the amount that's coming out of pocket by 20%. But because they are not paying any of the premiums as an employee only, it's decreasing the cost for the district. So if you can move to the next slide. And so these are all the plans that we're looking at. So when we put them all together, if you go all the way down to the bottom, if you can kind of slide down a little bit, the percentage of increase that the district is looking at is shown way at, right there, the last slide. Combined premium charge change is 4.5. So we looked at both of them. Like I said, we looked at both of them side by side, and we wanted to see what would be best. Instead of having the 8% increase, by changing our plan from the Classic Gold to the Classic Silver, it reduced the cost of the district by 3.5%. So we were just trying to look at a way that can help us. And one of the other areas that we looked at was what the employees pay. So if you were to look at our plans, our employees that have family coverage, they're going to look at the increase on their end. So we did try to look at some other ideas that we could help them out. And I know, we do have families on some of our plans, the spouses, the children, family coverage, and so they look at, what is going to come out of pocket? How much do I have to pay? That's always their worry. They'll ask me, if I add my spouse, what am I going to be paying, biweekly? And so, we wanted to help them out in a way that was going to be beneficial for those that are needing to have their families covered. And so we did increase the amount that the district would be putting toward the family coverage to $470 on the two lower plans, which was the Value Gold and the High Deductible Health Plan, the HDHP. But the Classic, we stayed at what our rate was at that point was $440. I believe we increased it by $450, and that's the amount that, because the employee is not paying their insurance, we use that amount to go lower the cost for the coverage for our employees. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So CBiz, by looking at that cost and with the savings from replacing Classic Gold, we were able to increase the dependent tier contributions, and that's covered in the second bullet. we would like to look at offering the classic silver as a buy-up option, which is only $13 a month. Like I said, when we changed over from the copay gold to the classic gold, we added that plan. They were paying $44, and we had employees that were willing to pay that extra amount. And so I'm sure, if they look at that plan, it's $13 is, $6.50 a pay period. It's just how we're helping the district not only save, but also, helping our families. The cost of, before this change would have been 66,840, which was that 6.7. With the changes we've made, it bring it down to the 23,616, and that was that 2.4 increase. So we're just trying to look at that, and it's also based on enrollment. So right at this point, we have employees that do not select the district's coverage. Some of them have state coverage. Some of them are covered by their spouses, and others, they may have, like we have some veterans that have chosen not to utilize our insurance and use the VA system. So we try our best to make sure that we keep the plans low enough that the district can cover the employee plan 100%. Right now at this point, you have employees that possibly don't even use the plans. They're healthy, and they could go with a lower, like a high deductible health plan, and the high deductible health plan comes with a health savings account that they can invest in, and that money stays, it's theirs. So as they stay on that plan, the younger they are, and they continue to stay on that plan, and if they choose to open a high deductible, a health savings account, that money will continue to roll until they decide to retire, but that's theirs. They earn interest, but they put that money in themselves. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is what it would look like for our employees by looking at the different options. The high deductible health plan would cost the district $425. The spouse, children, and family, the cost to the district would be $470 that we would continue to pay, and that amount for the out of pocket for the employee is listed on the fourth column over total per month. And so those are for each plan as it's outlined. So we are just requesting that the board, would look at what we've done to, help with keeping that cost down. Instead of staying where we're at, we tried to, use, get the plans that were best to keep our costs low. And so we're still at $1,022,556 for employer costs, but it's still lower than what it would have been if we had not removed the classic gold and went with the silver. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Dental renewals. So our dental plans are voluntary. So our employees decided they are going to go with the plans. It's out of pocket. It's always been out of pocket, so the district doesn't pay any of the premiums for that. That comes out of theirs. And so we look at those ones, and the changes. The only change we have is in our Delta Dental. It went up by 4%. The EDS, we are still on a rate guarantee up until next year, and so there's no increase on the premiums for that. Go ahead and move to the next slide, please. Vision is the same. It's also on a 2-year rate guarantee, so there's no change in what they're paying this year, and so it'll still be paying the same amount for their dental. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, and then the last slide is the voluntary life, accidental death, voluntary life, and the accidental death, and that is on a 2-year rate guarantee, which ends 2022. If you can go to the next slide. And then short-term disability is also on a rate guarantee until 2025. So there's no change to the districts. And the district does pay the group group life insurance and short-term disability for employees. That's it's not an out-of-pocket it's a benefit to our employees. So, and I think that's the last slide. You can go to the next slide. I don't know this. Yeah. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Mies. Governing board questions, comments, concerns? Mr. Diaz, any comments?
No comments.
Thank you, Ms. Sterling. Appreciate it. We'll go ahead and move on. Again, we'll be addressing that again in our action items. So if there's anything else that comes up, board, you'll have a chance to voice it. Number 7 is our Baboquivari Unified School District Governing Board Financial Report.
President Mudia, members of the board, Ms. Cristina Ravago has not only provided her report, but also provided a video that I'll be sharing shortly. Let me know if you have any questions at the end of this video related to our reports. And she's very proud. This is her first video. She apologizes, but I'm very proud of her.
Board President Guardian, USC board members, and Superintendent Rodriguez. I am first on the board members, our 2023 student activities and affiliate balances as of March 31st. The student activities account had deposits totaling $4,471.30. The primary STUCO had disbursements totaling $3,565.36 for the Penguin Shop invoice payment and lunch purchase for the 3rd grade field trip to the zoo. And a reimbursement of $50 was received for a credit card use for the 3rd grade field trip to the zoo. The high school STUCO received a deposit of $673.50 for unclaimed funds from the BSC's community event on March 10th. The class of 2023 received a deposit of $431 from the BSC community event. The class of 24 received deposits totaling $1,450 for the BSC community day, food sales, and prom ticket sales. The class of 2026 received a deposit of $197.50 for the BSC community event. The BHS softball team received a deposit of $255 for concession sales, and the high school baseball team received deposits totaling $304.80 for concession sales. The 8th grade promotion count received deposits totaling $996.50 for the BSC community event, concessions, and food sales. The high school yearbook had deposits totaling $113 for the BSC community event and sales of previous year yearbooks. The high school STUCO had a transfer out of $1,177.75 for unclaimed earnings from the Miracle on Main Street celebration. And those transfer out were distributed between 6 accounts with transfers into the elementary STUCO for $84.05, class of 23 with $218.74, class of 24 for $218.74. Class of 25 with a transfer of $84.04. Class of 26 had a transfer in of $218.74. The 8th grade promotion had a transfer in of $218.74. The yearbook had a transfer in of $134.70. The ending balance of the student activities account on March 31st was $93,659.10. The Student Auxiliary Fund has deposits totaling $150 to the high school for a donation from the Economic Development Authority of the TO Nation, and disbursements totaling $2,059.68 from the high school for payment of hotel rooms for the boys and girls basketball teams. There was a transfer out of the high school to the middle school auxiliary account of $400 to cover umpires for baseball and softball home games. The ending balance on March 31st, 2023 was $5,911.42. Now I'm going to be going over the budget expenditures as of March 31st, 2023. Attached, we have the expenditures through March 31st, 2023. The M&O reflects a budget balance of $892,048.87. We are 9 months into the fiscal year and everything remains in good standing. Teacher housing expenditures are moved into impact aid as payments are made depending on fund balance. There will be a budget revision in May to reflect the most recent ADM counts. Overall, we currently have a 51.16% or $20,759,867.18 budget balance, excluding encumbrances. We received $17,287,551.52 so far in fiscal year 23 in revenues from all funds. This excludes funds 850 for student activity and 855 for the insurance fund.
I know she's not here, but let's give her a hand to Ms. Christina Ravago and her efforts and also becoming part of the digitized world. There was also a correction made on this report. You will see the impact aid second deposit, and now it's reflected on this most current report. Any questions?
Questions? Hendricks?
Yes, Ms. Hendricks.
Oh, no, I was just wondering, because after it made the change, it left out the department's budgets.
I can request that and to have it resent to the governing board and also updated on the board docs. Thank you for catching that, Ms. Hendricks.
Would you just briefly kind of go over I guess it would be a good place to talk about it in the financing area, especially for our student athletics.
Thank you, President Buendia. We do have we have requested an actual presentation that is going to be coming in May to show from the finance department not only how athletics is being funded, but also all of the different ways that we can be fundraising. We do have started also with the support of Ms. Sudan the sponsorship letter, in which he has provided multiple options and people can be requesting. We will requesting funding and to be sponsored. We also reaching out to the community and also to sponsors our local businesses and any of the businesses that we are, any of the organizations that we conducted businesses with and they have contracts with, they'll be hearing from us very soon because we'll be requesting their support to be able to sponsor us in these multiple packages in which they can provide and show our support to our community, and especially for athletics. We will also be contacting some businesses in Tucson, especially some of the ones on Valencia corridor, since they're also part of our community where they shop. So I know in the next couple of weeks we will be sending that letter and also reporting to our board the success of our campaign and asking for sponsors.
There was a question, and maybe this is something you could respond to or respond later. I think publicly, or if anything, as far as those sponsorships or the request, can an individual specifically say, "I want this to go to the softball team or girls athletics," as opposed to across the board? Because I think that was one of the things that has been brought up to the board, and I want to speak publicly of it because I think it's important for us to address it. So I'm glad that we are making that effort, and we're going to start putting that sponsorship request out there because it is something that we definitely do need to have some support in. But I do want to also want everybody to feel knowledgeable on, okay, what does it mean if you're asking, and can I direct that directly to a certain club or athletic that I feel like I want to. So just to put it out there.
One of the easiest way in which our members of the community can support us is through tax credit. If a person wants to make some donations, they can specifically specify where area they want those fundings to be directed to, including some of the athletic departments. In terms of the sponsorship and amounts greater than the allocation for tax credit, I will wait until our fiscal department give us those guidelines. Is it possible? Yes. What is the requirements to do so? Part of it, of the donations, they need to come and be approved by the governing board. But I'm gonna ask for my experts to be present and provide the guidance.
Yeah, that'll be good. I think especially because if we're going to be receiving or requesting funds, I know that's been pointedly asked. Can I direct it specifically to someone and not just put it into some fund that gets divvied up that we don't know where it gets divvied up to? So the more transparency, the better. And I think it's
Absolutely.
important for us to be able to present that.
Yeah, I'll be happy to bring that back.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? If not, we'll go ahead and move on to our number 8 this evening, Baboquivari Unified School District School Principal Reports. Mr. Diaz.
This is my second favorite part of the governing board meetings, and the time to highlight the hard work our teachers, our students, and our school leaders are putting forward. And there's a lot to celebrate during the month of March. And at this point, I will ask my principal for, want to give it my best shot. Tawono Tadai Hamash Makud. Say it 3 times faster, Ms. Enriquez.
I'm
Faster.
sorry. No, yeah, that's not happening. All right. Good evening again, Board President Buendia, governing board members, Superintendent Diaz. I have submitted my principal's report in writing. I hope you have had the opportunity to read it. I do want to highlight at the bottom a huge thank you to JOM Parent Committee, who actually go back to the bottom of page 1. I'm sorry. They approved for all of our students to walk away with books at our spring book fair. They were super excited. They got to choose at least 3 to 4 books to take home. We will be receiving our book vending machine in 6 weeks. So we invite all of you to come to that. They have just really supported our love of reading at primary. And so we're really excited that they are partnering with us to make sure that kids do have books and they have books at home as well. So.
President Maria, at this point also, if you don't mind putting the report back, I need to highlight and I need to celebrate. I need my team to celebrate. One of our goals is 90% attendance by school, by grade level, by teacher. and I want to celebrate the third grade level that they have reached one of the goals, which is 91%. So let's give our third graders a big hand. They support it. And if you don't mind scrolling down to the next chart, continue, and right there, we need to celebrate the number of students that have jumped not only 1, 2, and 3 levels in SFA, but also look at the growth for our students in pre-K in gold. So I want you to see the amount of students on the dark. Please excuse my colors. The color on the left, which is dark blue through my eyes, and the other one, I don't know what it is. But it's look at the
So
growth.
the purple is the fall benchmark, and then the winter benchmark is the light blue,
Okay.
which are obviously the higher bars. So our pre-K students are making growth in those areas. We have one more assessment that they will take for their spring benchmark, which will be in May.
Building solid foundation. Let's give a big hand to our students and our teachers in the primary. Thank you for the growth. And now let's enjoy the highlights of the video. That's Ruben. Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I really want to for the 91%. That is really good, and then to see the benchmarks. You're gonna need a longer page for the spring. It's gonna go off the chart. I just know it. You guys are doing a really great job, and I just really want to say that the video that you done for the Easter Bunny, like along the way, and the years, that was so cool. I got a lot of feedback on that, and people really loved that. So just thank you for that. I thought it was so cool. I really loved it.
TOPD is still looking for you.
I just want to give you a shout out for all the hard work, not only you, but your staff. And you see all the progress that's happening, especially with the pre-K and seeing all that information. I really enjoy the videos that you guys post. The one that she was talking about was great, but also about you sharing on your social media about the books that you received. I was like, oh, that's great. And I wish we could be there to like participate in a lot of those things, but when we don't, it's really good to read about them. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Enriquez. Ms. Enriquez?
Thank you, Mr. Enriquez. I enjoyed
Appreciate
the
it.
video and the report that you presented.
Thank you.
Excellent work.
And
Thank
if
so
you
much.
noticed, that was photoshopped. I haven't been taped to the wall yet.
Yeah.
But if you have students at primary, they are required to read every day. We haven't had SFA for these past 2 weeks because of the state testing, but kids in pre-K through second have been telling me every day, I brought my homework back. We're going to tape you to the wall. I get threats every single day. So they are really excited about it.
That's
and
awesome.
they were posed a challenge as well. If we get more than enough, they'll also get to choose Miss Valdez to tape alongside with me. So you are all welcome to attend that event.
Yeah.
I got my tape.
Oh, just the last thing, just a quick, a beautiful shout out on all the partnerships with JOM, getting all of that funding secured for the kids. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Really appreciate it, you and your staff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Enriquez.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez, and thank you for your creativity and your team's creativity. It amazes me what you're able to accomplish with tape. So thank you for being a team player as well. And at this point, I'm proud to also bring our assistant principal for Wal Kiwak Edemak Ug Mashkamakut. I'm trying. One more time.
You're looking at the wrong one.
Oh, you're looking at the.
You're looking at the secondary campus.
Yeah, you're looking at.
And at this point, I want to bring Wal Kiwak Ha Mashkamakut.
There you go. Good job.
Muy bien. Muy bien. Good evening, President Buendia, board members, and Superintendent Diaz. Miss Bigay Lewis is not able to be here tonight, so I'm representing her. She has turned in her principal's report, so I hope you've had a chance to look at it. Before you scroll through it, I'd like to point out a few things. All the work that our teachers and students have been doing. You'll notice in 4th grade, if you'll scroll, it's okay. Keep going right there. 4th grade, 45 students moved out of the red, which is the bottom, not proficient. And so from the beginning of the year till this last benchmark that we took, oh my God, I don't even know when, in spring, right before fall break, spring break. And then you'll notice that in math, 60 students moved out of the red. So our teachers are doing a really phenomenal job. Are there any questions about our report?
Ms. Vance?
I don't have any questions, but I noticed on there that the attendance is also at 90%, and there's just one grade that's just below that. So that's cool. That is so awesome. And then there is a portion in there where it shows the actual teachers that are at that percentage of attendance in their classroom. And I really like that. It actually shows the teachers that are carrying those.
It was the second page highlighted in yellow.
What page is it?
Second page highlighted in yellow.
Right here. Yeah.
Scroll, second page, right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Is that, yeah, there
Yeah,
it
right
is.
there. You'll
There
see
it
the
is.
teachers.
That should be bold and highlighted and all of that, because I think that is so awesome.
March is fun because they do the March Madness, so our students really look forward to that. And before sorry, my first time.
Is that it, Ms. Vance?
Well, that too, but I also want to say thank you on behalf of TOUA to Principal Bigay Lewis, yourself, Superintendent Diaz, for actually coming over to TOUA and giving us an invitation to come to the house, to come to the school, to be part of the school, the community. So that community involvement is really important. And the feedback that I got when we returned was the excitement and the kids that were so excited to see people come and be a part of. It was just amazing. And how do you go about getting banners? Questions like that. So it's really great when the whole school comes out and shouts and is proud of their house that they're in and welcomes those new individuals. So I really want to say thank you, and I hope that more
Organizations.
that more invitations go out and more people get involved, because it's such a community. The effort to make the whole community be a part of the school, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and better and better, and you can see that with the grades, with the benchmarks. So thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say congratulations on the attendance. I think it's wonderful. I do also like the chart, the March Madness stuff. I also, hearing about what you've done for TOUA, I think I challenge you to do that for our department. I was telling you, Dr. Diaz, it would be really great for us to TOCC to be on that same level and get that experience, because we also have students who are going to school for early childhood, for education, and like if we could do that and share what is we're trying to create this community, and we are a part of the community. I think it's wonderful. I'm really looking forward to the Star Wars Day because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your report, and I am really excited to see your or your graph on your minimal proficient to partial proficient. Congratulations, and continue the work that you're doing in order to get, to the level that we expect. And then also regarding your attendance, I also appreciate the sharing of all the information that you have and where you're at with your attendance. And you have 2 more months to go.
Thank you.
Get it to 100. No, just kidding.
No, the campus definitely exudes, I think, a huge, like, speaking from the perspective of the employees from South District and TOUA, it was like they're impressed and they're very much grateful, I think, that you all, your staff, and everyone at that campus really has such a drive and passion, and for education, but also just to be involved with the kids is the bigger thing. So I know that these things, and as we presented a lot of this stuff as far as on the national stage as the governing board, what we understand is that as we continue to encourage that and continue to have people like yourself and Ms. B. Lewis be that, I don't know, beacon, I guess we'll call it, of just true passion for this field, I think we're only going to be able to see so much successes. So this is just the beginning. And I know that when we came into this role as governing board members, it was necessary, and I'm really glad that many of you are on board and are really supporting much of it. So thank you so much to your staff and all of the individuals that really do push for as much as they can from all of our kids. It's really appreciated. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sylvia.
I just also wanted to add, and I really do appreciate, I know that the teachers that presented for the student of the month, their introductions was very well done, and for using our language in order to do that. And I like to continue to see that being done. I think it was also mentioned by Ms. Vivian Juan that she really appreciated that. Also, I think we all do as author. Thank you.
We all know how to introduce ourselves thanks to our culture teachers.
Tahake.
And let's roll the video.
Okay. I just want to make sure we thank all of you that came to read for our students. They really enjoyed it. Those were some fun days. So thank you very much and
Great kids.
enjoy our video.
Thank you.
Thank you. And at this point, may I please have Ms. Sudam from, this is the hardest one for me. Wow, Kiwaks Adams. Sudam. Sudam. Oshkamaka. Ug. Mashkamaka. It's beautiful. Isn't it great to have an accent in Atom? I love it.
Thank you. Good evening again, President Buendia, governing board members. Mr. Diaz, I submitted my board report in writing. I hope you had a chance to read it. I do want to highlight our coaches, Narissa Birdsell and Kenneth Wilson, for leading our basketball team to the gold medal.
Yeah, baby.
Our team will be competing in track and field on April 15th. At Amphi, which is a Saturday, and then summer games are May 5th and May 6th. So we're excited to see our students come back with more gold medals. I also want to give a shout out to Angel Martinez, Eli Pablo, Savani Velasco, Nathaniel Garcia, Carlin Porter, and Lilas Litson for having their work featured at the Hearn Museum this past month. And Nathaniel Garcia's Winter Silhouette photo was selected to be a part of the 2023 note card collection. So those will be available for purchase once they have them ready. And he's getting $250 for that. So how awesome. And then I also want to recognize a huge, huge, huge thank you to Mr. Joseph Meese for the community day that he put on for our campus. He really took charge of that, connected with so many community partners near and far. And I'd like to thank the BUSD staff for also making recommendations to focus on health and wellness, not only physical, but mental and spiritual. So thank you to everybody that came out to support our community day. And then last but not least, one of the big pushes we have, especially for testing, is a shout out to the class of 2024 for their attendance on the day of testing.
Yeah, baby.
Our goal is 95%. Well, our requirement is 95% by the state, but we're hoping to get 100% of students. So thank you to them for their commitment.
Thank you for your efforts and leadership.
And then I also want to ensure that I extend some invitations to the governing board on Monday, April 17th. We're having our senior night for baseball and softball, and those will immediately follow the games. We also have prom that's coming up on April 21st, and it's going to be at Himbag Key. So that will be fun. And then we also have a high school spring Babo Day. So this will just be for the high school students. But if you're able to join us on April 27th, we would love to have you just stop by and see all of the great things that we'll be doing on that day. So I guess all that's next is our video.
But wait, there's more. On the bottom where all the charts are.
Oh, yes. we're starting to see the dial turn in minimizing the number of not proficient into minimally proficient and partially proficient. And one of the things that we've done a big push for is the number of students testing. So you'll notice that we're going from smaller numbers to much greater numbers. And our students are starting to get the message that it is a serious test that they need to be here for. So shout out to my teachers for communicating the importance of that testing, and to Ms. Onse, who does all of the makeup testing to make sure we capture as many students as we can. But yes.
I want to highlight also on this page we have a little bit up between the two pages, Mr. Bates, right there. Oh, sorry. Right there. At statistics, I want you to see the number of percentage that was decreased from the pre-test to the quarter 3, the number of percentage that decreased on students not proficient, and now how the numbers were moved over to minimum proficient, and also partially proficient. If you scroll down to the next page, there you go. And for ELA, I want you to just glance in the numbers, how they have been decreased from the rest and have been increased in all the other categories. I want to give a big shout out to our students that they are taking their learning seriously, and also our teachers for continue to work with the students to see that movement. And thank you again for all of the work on at the leadership side to be able to see within 3 quarters that movement. Let's give them a big hand and let's enjoy the video.
It's a very beautiful feature, bright color, goes right down the highway. It's called Glorious Green Flower.
And now, please help me welcome Mr. Fox for Walk Si Ebam Sid Mashkamakut.
Wonderfully done. With these ears, it was beautiful.
Stick around.
Good evening, President Buendia. Good evening, board members, Superintendent Diaz again. Thank you. I put my report in. I hope you have had a chance to look at it. I'd just like to continue highlighting that my guys did almost 2,400 Edgenuity assignments, 13 courses that were completed this month, and middle school attendance was at 88%, which is pretty good considering the guys that come down there generally don't come down with that great of an attendance, and the high school went up another percent. So we're pretty proud about that, even though they're at 75 and 88. They are going in an upward trend. So I hope you enjoy your video, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Just quick commercial, I promise I'll be quick. I also want to announce that one student that came this December, wanting to graduate in May. He had a long path, but he believed in himself. As of today, he is 1 course and a half from graduating, and he believes that in 2 weeks. So this student had over, I believe, 13 classes that he needed to finish. Correct.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that many, but it was
quite a long
share.
path. It was a lot of classes. But he said, I will graduate, and I want to dedicate this graduation to his dad. Thank you to you teachers to making it possible, encouraging this student that I know we're gonna be very proud and him and all of the other students for completing this major accomplishment.
Yeah, well, thank you for noticing him, and thank you for sending him our way when he met with you. And what's really neat about all of this is it's substantiated. Their assignments, their times, the hours that they've logged, the times that they've logged are all in Edgenuity. So you can see someone like the young lady that came up here just earlier, Jessica. I would say to her on a Thursday afternoon, God, Jess, man, you're dragging today. You only did 25 only. It's a joke. Come back Friday morning. Like I said, she's up for 2 hours before school, knocking them out. So Shane, who Mr. Diaz is referring to, is an example of a guy that you look at the weekends, what he's doing. He's doing work all over spring break. Shane did work. So it's really, really neat to see their growth. And we're fortunate that we do use Edgenuity because it's got a real good graphic organizer that shows them exactly where they're moving through. So we're outstandingly, we're just so proud of our students for what they do.
Let's look at the video. Thank you. It sure was. Congratulations,
It was a lot
sir.
of fun. And I just want to add one thing that Mr. Russell, he has a standing invitation because those kids, they want him on that chessboard again. So thank you. And also the kickball, that was thanks to Miss Leva and company for inviting us to have some of our kids play with their kids in a kickball game. That's why you saw sizes all over the place. So it was a really fun month.
Thank you. I'm very proud of my leaders, my principals. Thank you for all of the work. I want to highlight and shout out that there's a lot going on, and a lot of you guys do, but you always find a way to ensure your students are learning, and you also find a way to make it fun for them and fun for your teachers. I'm very proud of you all. Thank you.
Okay, we can move on to number 9, the board members report.
Don't all speak at once. I'm just kidding.
Kathy's the one who submitted one, so go ahead, Kathy.
41, thumbs up, dab, heart.
No, I know Miss Hendricks is gonna hold off on her report this evening as well, just out of respect for everyone's time, because I know we definitely have a lot more on the agenda. But I did just want to quickly thank again Miss Vance for submitting hers in writing. I did want to ask Mr. Sabala if you could continue to send us like those dates that she's mentioning, or any of the dates that we could possibly maybe be at. How? Because I think as much as we've been able to, I think that's so much helpful, just because it just helps to put it in the calendar, especially for me. But I'm really, really grateful to be able to, again, as we mentioned, be able to represent not only the board, but all of you in your work, your hard work, at the levels that we've been able to, the school board associations, NAFIS, and all of these other things, Miss Vance, and the reading and the house sorting days. Those are all things that I think are really, really being successful in engaging the community. That education is important, and I really, really, really am very super proud of it. So that's it for me at least. But I will try to get back to.
I just wanted to say it's been great to be out in the community. I think one of the biggest things for me was attending the student council. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Student council meeting. It was good to hear them, and like for us to sit there and listen to their meeting, but also for them to create a game for us to be a part of and have
cool.
conversation and recognize those seniors that are going to be graduating. I wish we could do that for all seniors, but we're only able to do it for those who were there. Like Juan said, for us being able to attend various conferences, I was able to go with Ruben and Jose to NAFIS, and it was a great experience. I've gone, I think, prior to COVID with Tanya and Edna, and it was an eye-opening experience, but it was fun to be out there, other than it being very cold. But it was a great experience. And then just recently coming back from Florida and attending the National School Board Conference and sharing about what we're doing and how people are really excited about some of the things that we're doing in our community. And Ruben brought his excitement and his enthusiasm and got everybody engaged, but everybody had a lot of questions, and they
Even
wanted to
taught
know
them
more
taught them in the 5 seconds or in the few minutes. He taught them how to introduce themselves. That was
And the accent was included too.
sorry to say.
Yeah, so it was great, and just attending some of the informational sessions. I do want to say, and I have this discussion with Ruben, is that we need to bring our students to things like this, because the students can see what we're doing. They also can be there to present, because we had a lot of students come in and do like presentations or do performances. I'm like, our students could be up there and sharing our culture with these people here at these conferences. So I think that's something that we should push for, strive for.
I think just to kind of round it out, because I feel like you definitely, all of you, or those of you who are supporting the students, looking at the whole crowd. No, I think that the more that we're including the kids, the better, because I feel like that's exactly where they need to be, want to be, and can be, and should be. So I'm 100% supportive of wherever we can take them, wherever they could be. Student superintendents or something, you know what I mean? I think, especially hearing so much from the youth now, in the capacity that we have, that I have, but also in the sense that because we're more present, it's just so much more impactful. I think on what we do is just the policymakers, but it's very humanizing. I mean, we're human, but there's a huge thanks. There's a I mean, I think even engaging them in how to call to the audience, like what does that mean? I mean, even for the public in general, because it is important for us to hear their feedback, but I think they look at it in a negative way, which I don't ever think that that's what that's intended. So if anything, I know we try to go to conferences, but I'm very glad Miss Saunders was here to kind of really get that perspective on. I didn't think about that. Like we are told to be quiet, sit still, and then there's a whole other world that tells you, why are you sitting quiet? Why are you still? Are you weird or And they look at it in a weird way, but we don't see it that way. So, sorry, off on a tangent. Nonetheless, I really want to say thank you all so much for all your effort. If nothing else, we'll go ahead and move on this evening to number 10, our Baboquivari High School District Superintendent's Report. Superintendent Diaz.
President Medina, members of the board, I'm going to try to do a quick drive-through in this period of time. I want to give a couple of shout-outs before we show the video. I want to start with our counselors that they have, as of March, addressed almost 500 referrals. So let's give them a big hand for our counselors. Thank you for being there for our students and for our staff. For the Sunrise House, they have, for this month, delivered 2,527 pounds of food, serving 418 adults and 262 children and 86 households. Let's give it a shout out for the Sunrise House. I want to thank also the Department of Social Emotional Learning for supporting with all of the parent workshops that we had for this semester, and we are also ready and set up for next semester. A give shout out for your support through Project Aware. Let's give him a big hand. Another big hand to operations for the professional development that provided for the month of March for the employees related to protection and safety, and also for the projects, which is the kitchen that is going to be starting at the intermediate school and also for the primary school roof using SFP funds. So thank you for being consistent and seeking those funding, saving the district money. Let's give a big shout out to operations. For the Department of Special Ed, thank you, and data and accountability. Thanks to the work of and accuracy on the reports, we expected a 50% on the letter grade for the student population. Let's give a big shout out to Mr. Martinez for the work that he's doing. Having said that, I have 3 videos. There's some short ones. We will start from the family community engagement so we can see what is going on. Also have a special feature presentation so you can see what the counselors that they've been working on. They put together the video. And lastly, my video as well. Having said that, let's take it away, Mr. Bates. give a big hand to our Sunrise Health, please. Now we can give a big hand to the Sunrise. Thank you. Counselors. Yes, please.
Our BSC mental health team takes the inputs from all staff, parents, guardians, and students. We also collaborate with outside organizations to provide our students and families with all possible resources needed. Throughout the school year, we may see that the number of new referrals has been declining at all school sites. Along with new referrals, our counselors continue to follow up with past referred students to ensure they are receiving all the support they need. Each school site counselor / behavior specialist helps create a welcoming environment for students in all who visit. This includes classroom visits, motivational boards, reviewing self-care strategies, and hosting assemblies for making awareness. The USD school counselors and behavior specialists build strong relationships with our students around campus, before school, when covering classrooms, during lunch, and after school. Our school counselors also organize field trips and college visits with our USD students. Students attended the Tucson College Night and colleges like Pima Community College, Johanna Autumn Community College, and the Institute of American Indian Arts came out to visit our students. Lastly, our mental health team attends and provides professional development and workshops for our staff and community.
Let's give them a big hand to our mental health support team. And lastly, the superintendent and curriculum and instruction department and tutoring report. And you thought it was over.
And now for the current data update. As a reminder, our stretch goal is that 80% of our students will reach 70% or greater mastery in all standards. For our spring benchmark assessment, we had 4 standards in mathematics where we passed that 70% threshold. We had 2 in 4th grade, 1 in algebra 2, and 1 in statistics. For our ELA, we had 2 standards, one was in our 8th grade class, the other was in our 5th grade. Here we see our proficiency levels broken down, from non-proficient all the way up through highly proficient, and we see some goals here within each. On each of our students' assessments on the benchmarks, they are categorized according to their score on the assessment. we have this pie chart here. So in math, 42% of our students fell back a proficiency level. 50% of our students maintained their proficiency level. And then we have 38% grew at least one level, 7.7 grew at least two levels, and 2.3% of our students grew 3 levels or more on their mathematics test. So growing one level means they would move, let's say for example, from not proficient to minimally proficient, from partially proficient to proficient. That's an example of moving one proficiency level. Students that moved two would have moved from, for example, not proficient all the way up to proficient. So we see some incredible growth happening here on my students. We also see some incredible growth here in ELA as well. We did have 15.5% of our students falling back one proficiency level. But the thing to really focus here on is that 38% of our students maintained their proficiency level, 36 grew one level, 8.3% grew two levels, and 1.5% of our students grew three proficiency levels. And that's it for your data update.
Furthermore, he's always humble to see mistakes, courageous to admit, and wise enough to correct. As a result, he's been showing much growth in his success. Majority of his scores were proficient with his skills. And guess what? He told me that he wants to be a teacher as well. Congratulations again. Good luck for the future. And that he is so proud of you. And that he said that you wanted to make the world a better place. That you trash in the healthy classmates when they struggle with lessons. And that you want to be a teacher in the future and help with literacy.
Anyone sitting up, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. Absolutely. What we thought. Beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Therefore, like it for thank you for being here.
And that concludes. Any questions, comments? Now is a good time. Okay, thanks.
Anything from the board? If not, we'll go ahead and continue with the agenda this evening. Number 11 is our coaches and club sponsors and approved positions. Brandon Jones for BHS softball club sponsor. Pete Delgado, BHS baseball club sponsor. Primary after school programs, Oiluk, Angelica Cerosito and Krishna Scott Matias running. Vanessa Holmes and Amy Spotterwolf. Cooking, Barbara Nunez. Science, Danielle Nelson. And Layla Ochoa as the class of 2024 sponsor. Again, governing members, this is just for your information. If there's nothing else, moving on. Number 12 is first reading of the Baboquivari Unified School District Policy Adoption, GCF-EE. Again, first reading, and for your information, Mr. Diaz, anything you want to touch on? This will be brought back forward, so if there's any questions or comments, please do make sure that you're voicing them. I do know and understand that this was something that we definitely wanted to make sure was implemented and or, of course, considered. Mr. Diaz.
President Medina, members of the governing board and team, we are at a point and also in a need to adopt a policy that shows not only what is the teacher's responsibility, but also responsibility as a district. We are bringing to your attention this policy, which is part of the ASBA list of policies available. There's another district that is already currently using it. This is only specifies what is their understanding and responsibility on multiple areas, including our mission, our vision, where to get the information needed from the Arizona Department of Education, the retirement, IRS, as well as our policies that we have in place. And it also shows what is their understanding of the visas in our side as the employing agency. This is only the policy. As I also share, this is a combination of the policy that also includes that criteria that we'll be using at the school level and the HR level. It's a supplemental document that we'll share to the governing board as well. Please take a minute. I just gave you a summary of what the policy is. This is a first read as required. This will be coming back in March, and I'll open myself for questions at this point.
Coming back in May.
For second read. I mean, this is April. In May, we have to do the second read, right?
Because we're not going to go backwards.
Huh?
March, you said.
I meant, sorry. That's part of my accent. Back in May.
And then to the governing board, I definitely wanted to make sure that it was speaking to specifically to our district. I know that the ASBA does provide policy bridges, and it's just especially for, I think, the specific anything specific that we want to make sure is included. That's why I really wanted Mr. Diaz and anyone else that was going to be partaking in developing the policy, or at least fine tuning it to speak to our needs. So definitely do provide questions, comments, concerns as we're kind of coming back to the second read, and then eventually overall approval. Okay. Questions, comments at this point before, so you can give him some marching orders. I think that they're on the right track. I don't have any problems. I think it's going. I definitely do know we need to have something. So that's why I was pushing on Mr. Diaz to bring it forward. Mr. Ben, anything? In March of 2024. Yeah. All right. If nothing else, moving on, letter F is our action items. Number 1, discussion and possible approval of the CBIZ Employee Benefit Insurance Renewal Recommendation for 2023-2024. Any questions, comments from the board? Mr. Diaz, anything you want to add?
I thank you for taking the time and for doing the briefings to get to know what were the main points. And at this point, I don't have anything to add other than we're doing everything possible to employees to ensure that we can cover the best plan at the most affordable cost, and we'll continue to do so and explore other options in the future years.
In that regard, I do want to make sure to announce, and I think this was something that I wanted to make sure to tell you, is that ASBA is actually looking for trustees, new board trustees. Be something to definitely be involved in. I don't want to be on any more boards or committees, but it is something I think that is important, especially for board members and or superintendents, because they do represent all of the school boards and what they do with ASBA and how to me, and this is for the board and us to consider, because I know as far as retaining teachers or trying to appeal to them that this is where you should be. If we're going to approve anything tonight, I definitely want to approve with directives to try and seek, some sort of, I don't know. ASBA probably won't like it, but I don't know that it's actually doing any of us any favors. I think we've voiced that on behalf of the employees, because to me, there's better, and I feel like we're not meeting that, but that's just me personally, in my opinion. So I continue to express, I don't know how much we can look at or seek any other coverage or something, just in my opinion. Board members, anything else? If not, Shamtaju.
I think that with the presentation that Ms. Meese gave, and I don't know how to.
CBIZ.
Huh?
CBIZ.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to approve the CB's employee benefit insurance renewals that were recommended.
Can I make a suggestion? If I second, just include a directive to the superintendent and the staff to seek and pursue any other options, just to be presented at a later date, maybe next year, if possible. Is that okay?
Noted.
I'm asking, she's the motion maker.
Noted.
So you don't want to go with
I want to approve it, but I want to approve it with the directive. Questions? I'll second with that, if that's okay.
All those in favor of the motion with the second, with the directive for Juan Buendia to look for other options in the near future, probably next school year. All those in favor, Juan Buendia?
Musapo.
Anna Marie Stevens?
Aye.
Sylvia Hendricks?
Musapo.
Kathleen Vance?
Masapa.
Motion carried.
Number 2, discussion and possible approval of job description and posting success for all facilitator, Mr. Diaz.
President Mundia, I would like to start by also going back to our 3-year goal. We are in transition between clearing the land and also building structures for the next school year. As part of building structures, not only this item, but the items coming up, it is part of having a structure that we will need to be able to continue to support and show the progress that we want to continue to see, not only at this school, but at the district level. At this point, I would like also your permission to ask Ms. Enriquez to come forward to the podium to answer any additional questions that the board may have regarding the success for all facilitator position that we are seeking.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Ms. Enriquez, anything you want to kind of touch on? I know you presented the memo and it's pretty clear, but as far as our experience and when we came in, especially myself coming into the boardmanship, is that success for all is only successful if you utilize the tools and the resources. So individuals who maybe don't feel as supportive of it, don't use it, and so it isn't as effective. So I'm hoping, and I want to support. I'm not saying I don't support, but I just kind of wanted to get your feedback on where you feel like this is going to be. I mean, I all faith and good trust going forward that it will be. But I wanted to also express that if we have this individual, that they do present something maybe quarterly, just to kind of give us a real kind of, what would you call it? Kind of a real time, if as much as possible, on what are we hitting, what are we missing, and are we correcting it?
So when we first started this program, we did have a facilitator in place, and we saw huge improvements. I was in the classroom at the time, and I remember we started, and we were a K-5 school at the time, so we started with 8 R1 classes. Mind you, 5th graders were at a level 1.
Yeah.
That's a first grade program. Over time, we've seen the success of the students learning those foundational skills that they need to be successful in learning how to read. As time went on and with change of leadership, things kind of, the program, like you said, will work if people are using it to fidelity. If they're getting that training, if they're getting the professional development, if they're getting the modeling and the coaching. Mrs. Medina has been overseeing that along with the ELA interventionist. The ELA interventionist is strictly to be working with students and teachers and making sure that students, their needs are being targeted and identified in that reading role. So it is supplementing what the SFA facilitator is doing.
Okay.
As far as providing data, we do monthly, quarterly success network meetings where we come together and we talk about, okay, this was our goal in Curiosity Corner, Kinder Roots, and Wings. But we also, that's our classroom instruction.
Yeah.
But with that effective cycle of instruction, we also have school-wide programs in place. But because we're lacking somebody to make sure that all of those things are flowing together so that it all comes together to make sure school-wide we are progressing and identifying the needs, not just in reading, but we have a math program too that we want to roll out that we used to within SFA, and it's a really good structure so that we can ensure that we're hitting all those areas.
I appreciate that. My job. If not, without objection, a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the motion, Juan Buendia.
Mosapo.
Anna Marie Stevens.
Aye.
Sylvia Hendricks.
Masapo.
Kathleen Vance. Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Enriquez, Mr. Diaz. Number 3, discussion and possible approval of job description and posting, district English language arts interventionist coach.
President Badia, members of the board and team, as part of also building the structure and taking the district to the next level, as I'm transitioning more into being the superintendent and overseeing the district as a whole, one of the areas of support that I will need, it will be a district ELA coach that will support me in providing not only the professional development for our principals, sources, but also overseeing the after-school program as well as the new teacher mentor program. These will release not only many of the responsibilities, but will from my side, but it will bring another level of expertise to help me under my leadership and guidance to move the district forward. So I'm asking my office is asking the BOC board to approve the district English language arts interventionist coach. It's a new position starting at 23-24 school year. This new position will report directly to me and to perform the duties and responsibilities listed on the attached job description as well. This position will be funded with the monies that were allocated for the assistant superintendent as well as Title I and Title II funding.
Marjorie Kaka. Are there any questions from the board?
It kind of looks like the format of the job description is a little different. I don't see requirements on there. Just was wondering what that was. Is it?
The required knowledge and skills qualifications, you mean?
Okay.
What is it? It's underneath. It's in a separate document.
Sorry.
Okay. It's just following. It usually goes under. Supple.
Okay. No, my chair.
I motion to approve.
I have a motion by Miss Anna Marie Stevens. May Damch.
Second.
Miss Sylvia Hendricks.
All those in favor of the motion, Juan Bonilla,
No sabo.
Anna Marie Stevens,
Aye.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Supple.
Kathleen Vance. Motion carries.
Number 4, discussion and possible approval of job description and posting. District Affairs Manager, Senor Diaz.
Senor Buendia, now I would like to bring before the governing board a second position that will be a great support in supporting our 3-year goals that will not only support the schools but also the office of the superintendent. The goal for this person is to be able to provide support in providing media at the school level and district level, to be able to provide messaging at the school level as well at the district level. This person will be responsible to be able to attend all the events and provide invitations ahead of time for the community and staff. Be present during the events, and also provide a digital documentary of what's going on in the district, so it can be updated and upgraded in our digital platforms. This person will also be tasked in providing support to the schools, not only in providing investigations for students and also for staff, along with creating a kit of due process, including forms, so that then the school leaders will be supported and collaborate with HR once they have this kit. Lastly, this position will also support the district and schools when it's not creating videos or supporting schools with the due process kit, is to also seek additional funding that we will need in the next couple of years, including grants that will support the 21st century. Will also include additional funding to or opportunities for transportation and athletics. It is with humbly pride that I want to bring this before the board. I do feel that based on the goals that we try to achieve, this will alleviate a lot of the responsibilities from our school leaders, that will allow them to be the instructional leaders and provide coaching for their teachers, coaching for their assistant principals, coaching for the SIS, and continue to provide academic recommendations within schools by being in the classrooms.
Ms. Hendricks.
I think the only thing I would like to, and I shared this with Ruben earlier, was the minimum requirements. I think that we need to add on a master's degree due to the salary level and the amount of duties presented.
Response.
The type of duties, I guess, more or less. The essential functions, I guess, is what I meant under duties.
This is something that we can follow up as well based on the motion they make, yes.
Comments?
So was that a motion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion
To amend
to approve with the amendment of the,
Inclusion of the masters?
yeah, minimum requirement.
I think we might have to discuss a little, but unless someone's gonna second, I mean, it's preferred, and I get the comment, or at least the recommendation, because it is, to me, I'm gonna be honest, to me, we might as well have had another assistant superintendent to really be able to delegate those. But I want to be able to trust and understand that Mr. Diaz has a plan, and so does the staff understand his overall goals there. So I don't know. I think the prefer is fine. Qualifications, because it does list.
I agree with you. I think because it does state that on the bottom as a preferred. Right here, it says master's degree preferred relation, but it just says minimum requirements. So does the motion, that's my motion. I don't know.
So we have a motion by Ms. Hendricks with the amendment. So either Juan would call for a second, and if no second is made, the motion would die.
Well, I can call for a second. Is there a second? I did want to ask Miss Darylyn, I guess in the comparison for what we're looking at when it comes to the district affairs manager and any other position that might be equivalent to a district affairs manager, would you say that in your, I guess, opinion, that it would support requiring minimally a master's as opposed to preferring? Just asking your opinion. I mean, it might help. Oh, I'm so sorry. Can someone relate to her what I...
And President Mundia, and that could have been an oversight on my part, and I will take responsibility for that. I do feel that this position should require a master's degree, in my opinion. But that's something that we can edit based on the motion on the floor.
Bates, can you bring up the job description again with the minimum requirements, and then right after that, it'll show masters required in so-and-so? Right there. Ms. Meese agrees that the minimum requirement in her experience should be a master's.
Okay.
So that would change to,
Only from preferred to minimum.
okay.
Then I would make that amendment tomorrow before I submit it. Then I would make that amendment tomorrow to the job description before I submit it to Darylyn, if that's the will of the board.
I have a motion on the floor to approve with the recommendations. Second by Ms. Kathleen Vance.
All those in favor of the motion, Juan Buendia?
Masapo.
Anne Marie Stevens?
Aye.
Sylvia Hendricks?
Masapo.
Masako.
Thank you. Number 5, discussion and possible approval of acceleration grant summer school secondary credit recovery. Mr. Diaz.
President Buendia, this memo has two recommendations. The first recommendation is to approve a K through 8 program and a 9 through 12 program. The goal is for this program to, for the K-8 program is to recruit 200 students, and for the 9th through 12th grade, it will be to recruit 100 students. The first motion is requiring our K through 8th grade students to attend a 15 instructional day summer program, and the secondary 9 through 12 is requiring a 30-day instructional program. To be able to make these two programs work, we will need the following staff members. Mr. Bates, if you don't mind going to the 4th page. These are all of the different positions that we will need, and also for the total of instructional days. So we will need a K-8 coordinator and a 9 through 12 coordinator, a counselor. We need K-8 teachers, 9 through 12 teachers. We need behavior and attendance specialists. We need 8 paraprofessionals. We need a nurse. We need everyone in transportation. We need security. The idea is to house our summer program at a primary school, given that there will be construction at a high school as well as a primary. It is my intention to ask for your approval as is. This summer school will be funded through ESSER funding as well as accelerated funding Title 1 and Title 2. Any questions or any comments regarding our two motions, recommendations?
Namay Chirikaka. Umano Masapo on the item. Without objection, a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motions Anna Marie Stevens, second Sylvia Hendricks.
All those in favor of the motion? Juan Buendia.
Masapo.
Anna Marie Stevens.
Aye.
Sylvia Hendricks.
Masapo.
Kathleen Vance.
Thank you. New number 6. This is just in regards to the out-of-state travel request from the class of 2024. I am more than happy to approve with one condition. And this mostly goes to support that I feel like is absolutely something to really, really, really be enticing to an individual to really kind of achieve, and enticing for all of the staff to get them to be able to go. So the only condition I would ask is that instead of a C average, they have a B average to participate. That's my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Anna Marie Stevens.
All those in favor of the motion? Juan Buendia.
Masapa.
Anna Marie Stevens.
Aye.
Sylvia Hendricks.
Not voting.
Kathleen Vance.
Masako.
Okay. Letter G is our consent agenda. Without objection, I'll motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Sylvia Hendricks.
All those in favor of the motion? Juan Buendia.
Masapa.
Anna Marie Stevens.
Aye.
Sylvia Hendricks.
Masapo.
Kathleen Vance.
Masako.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Letter H, request for future agenda items. Anything, Ben? No.
No, we'll be bringing back comparison for the next May or June board meeting, whatever we can have that prepared. We are getting ready to have an answer presentation, hopefully that will be in May, the answer class.
Awesome. The policy will come back. That's it. Any requests? from the
There
board?
was also a request for the board regarding the application process and some clarity on the assignments and transfers. There was also a request on a follow-up on clarification on essential standards versus the 3-year plan as 8 essentials. And also how to fund the athletics and fundraising for the athletic department. And those are the ones so far I have.
So those will come back. Okay.
Yes.
Anything else?
Any other requests? A kitchen with a sink.
Yeah, the kitchen is. If nothing else, thank you, Mr. Diaz. Thank you, Mr. Sabala. We'll move on. Letter I is our adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Miss Anna Marie Stevens. I'll second. Masapa.
Aye.
Supple? Is it to adjourn?
9:19 p.m. We are adjourned.